Welcome back, everyone, to unfortunately, but also fortunately, the last match of this series of Spawn Point Championship Series. We had rookie tier grand finals on Monday, JBL Speaker versus EBDB. As you can see now on your screen, 4-2 victory for Eternal Beach Off Bears. Then we also had Billings Boomers and no one else. Yesterday, there was a 4-0 for Billing Boomers, and today we have the last match for the intermediate division here, Eternal Fury versus Joey Esports.
Yeah, and Fury coming off of a very big, in many people's eyes, upset win over the Unction, where the Unction did hold a 3-1 lead and saw it fall apart before their eyes as the Fury clawed their way back to a map 7 and ended up taking that match 4-3 to land their way into grand finals. And Fury's like one of the cases where it's like kind of odd for the team. They came out swinging in terms of the trash talk. Ronan out the gate
Yes.
said everybody was playing for second. They had a early rough patch in terms of the first few weeks not going so well for them. Last time they played Joey was week 1, albeit, and that was a 3-0 for Joey. You see, Eternal Fury, they had their ups and downs even through the playoffs. They lost 3-0 to Bomb Pop Ballers, getting sent down to the do or die match against Chaos Theory, where they did 3-0 my team. I wasn't there. I wasn't there for that because I was getting kept at work that day. But then you see them trying to break it. I think they 4-0'd Bomb Pop, the team that they had previous lost to, and then they go 4-3 the Unction. Now they're up against a familiar foe from week 1, and Joey have looked really strong throughout the entire season. A little fun fact about Joey is, if this goes to map 7, Cry and Null, or Null aka Koi, are 0-2 when it comes to map 7s.
Yeah, an interesting statistic, and you brought it up a bit. Both these teams played in week 1, first match of intermediate tier. That was both me and Denji on the mic for that one as well. And as you said, Eternal Fury, they said at the top of the thing, they said everyone else is playing for second. You brought it up, didn't exactly go their way throughout the season. And we asked them again, you said, like, how did you guys bounce back from those kind of early setbacks? And they told us, we nailed down our play style that fits the best for us as a team. And there was also a lot of individual improvement, a lot of work they put in behind the scenes to try and make this kind of recovery happen throughout the season. Now they find themselves here in this grand finals, kind of looking to make the prophecy come true, if you will, and secure that first place.
Yeah, and another little bit of a fun fact that neither team brought this up. Neither of the people from the team I reached out to brought this up. Koi was the one who brought it up. That you have two historically known duos trying to get their first ring, and Koi and Cry on the side of Joey, and then Ronan and Shinji on the side of Eternal Fury. And Joey Esports, watch out for them a little bit of tomfoolery, because according to Try, Asdo has banked up 2 maps where he gets to pick whatever hero he wants by tricking them with riddles, and he hasn't used them yet. So if Asdo is on, I don't know, Junkrat, blame that. And then the other funny thing from Try was the message. Another question anybody asked was, "Do you have any message for your opponent or fans today?" He's responding with, "I have attached a picture of our motto," and their motto is from LCS. And if you were from Series 1 in the Premier tier, you probably remember this: "If we lose, it doesn't matter because we didn't scrim. But if we win, it's really embarrassing because we didn't try." That is Joey's motto going into this match.
Yeah, and this is the energy that Joey Esports has brought all season. This kind of nonchalant, casual, joking atmosphere, if you will. A lot of their players, they like the jokes. They're with the jokes. Eternal Fury, they've been serious all season, and it's a real matchup of play styles, real matchup of attitudes on approach to the game. It's really a true dichotomy between these two teams.
Yeah, and going back to the last, I asked both teams about how they felt in the first matchup. Of course, Ronan had they weren't at full form yet. They were playing things that they weren't comfortable with, and it wasn't working out. In their last meeting, Try already said that they won solely off of mechanics. and that ever since then they've just been working on team play, and hopefully that pays off. Also, they still jokingly say that Swifter's always is the first one dead, which we kind of saw. Yes,
Yeah.
he dies a lot in their last game against Milkman. You know, I casted that one, so that was a treat to see. And in terms of compositions, Ronan from Eternal Fury said that they really love to favor the brawl style. He didn't like specify what type of like composition, but I'm guessing the Zarya, because Zarya's been pretty like the mainstay on tank.
Yeah.
And Tri responded by saying that Joey really likes the Zarya Reaper. That's probably the thing they have the most play time on.
Yeah, it is important to note, right? We haven't seen. I don't remember the last time we saw Eternal Fury on stream. It might have been that week.
It was week 1.
But yes, Joey Esports. We saw them last week in their semifinal. It was a 4-2, I believe. Lots of tech issues. Stream went on for 3 hours.
Yeah. No internet issues today.
Hopefully. Yeah, no internet issues today. I'm knocking on wood again for this one. As we do see both teams are now in lobby and getting ready to start. As we have the first map pick here on screen.
It's selected by...
I believe it should be selected by Joey?
I think, yeah, Joey selects the map. And this is the map that they selected against Milkman last week, which was Nepal. Since Joey is the higher seed, also they get the first ban pick. Now, if you know Eternal Fury like I do, because I know them pretty well, what do you think? I'll say what I think what Joey's gonna try to target ban immediately. But what do you think Joey's gonna get the ban out?
I don't have the tech like you do. If I'm Joey, and okay, we like to brawl, we like the Zarya kind of matchup. I'm looking to ban away things that are maybe good into that, maybe disrupt that playstyle, and maybe you look to do a tank ban first. Maybe you say, okay, we ban ball. That would be something that I would kind of look to without really much prior experience for knowing what Eternal Fury likes to play.
This is the ban this is one of the bans I kind of saw coming. Eternal Fury, the way they beat the Unction was they just ran a 5-man death ball, like with the Mei, with Zeb playing the Mei, just cutting off foliage, making Luel irrelevant in the fights, which is pretty hard to do. But when now Fury get the opportunity to ban here, now they can't ban any DPS, but I don't think it's really gonna affect them because I think you're probably just gonna see Zeb on Trace and stuff like that. So if I'm them, last time Joey played this map, they played the Moira Lucio. If you don't really want to deal with that pace, you can get rid of either Lucio or the Moira. I don't think it would really help the Eternal Fury because they want to set that pace too. So if I'm them, I think I'm gonna try to force the Zarya mirror and get rid of the Winston, which did favor more on this point.
Yeah, very possible. I think just circling back to that Mei a little bit, it hasn't been very popular for a lot of people, especially in the rookie tier that I've been more in tune with. But I really like Mei as a character right now, especially when Zarya is quite good, because just putting that Mei wall and splitting the tank away from the rest of the team can just do so much pressure. And a lot of times, if you forced out bubbles beforehand, that could just be a death sentence for the Zarya right there, just one Mei wall. Yeah,
and not to mention Mei did get that buff where her primary fire, it was a small buff, but they increased her primary fire's that cold beam of death. They increased the damage per second from 100 to 110, so she does have a little bit higher DPS.
Okay. Yeah,
Very small change, but as a tank player, you feel it.
Yeah, definitely feel that one. And one of the ways, obviously ban it first. Eternal Fury had a strong showing on the Mei in their last series, like you said. It's likely we are going to see this Mei come into the picture in the later map here, especially depending on what map picks we end up going to.
This is a thing that I see a lot because as Eternal still, according to RMM, Eternal's still discussing. This is something I kind of see a lot sometimes. A ban comes in, it throws off everything. Now you're back to square one where you're carefully planned. We're gonna ban this hero is gone. I saw it a lot more in rookie tier because I think rookie tier is more exploitable with bans. That's just that. When you get advanced tier, it's like the one tier where you don't really see that exploitation. Theory, ban is in for Eternal Fury, banning out the Ramatra.
I like this. I think this is a good read. I think
I don't know how about this. I don't know how much this does. Null really doesn't like to play Ramen. Well, actually, he played Ramen one map, and it was Rialto, and it was for I think 30 seconds, and that was it.
Yeah, the reason I like this ban is I think Ramatra right now is a little bit underrated. I think does have a decent amount of staying power against that Zarya. So if you really favor yourself, you say, okay, look, I back ourselves in the Zarya matchup, in the Zarya brawl, getting rid of another tank pick that might be something they want to run. Granted, you also have to accept the fact, okay, you can maybe ban support, maybe ban Kiriko or Lucio or something like that. But if you're saying, okay, I back ourselves in the Zarya mirror, just take away options from the enemy team to swap to if they're feeling stressed, you know? It's not a bad throw out here, especially on map 1 where okay, you have your ideas about what the enemy team might play, but you're not really sure yet. And the first few maps here, first 1-2 maps is gonna kind of set the tone for this series in terms of how both these teams want to play.
Yeah, even if they're not winning the Zarya mirror, a really weird thing is Ronan told me a while ago, or actually pretty recently, that he thinks Shinji is probably the best Orisa player to counteract the Zar, because the guy just really knows how to play that hero pretty well. Which is a hero I thought he was going to play in their last matchup, which was in week 1, but never switched to. He just really favored that Ramatra pick. As for some reason Water's saying he wants his money back.
Yeah, I'm interesting look at the comps here.
Eternal Fury's trolling there now.
Yeah, definitely trolling, but the Queen might stick. Tracer Queen might stick. It's just a Soldier of Mercy is maybe a little bit suspect there. Unless they really want to play their distance, swap.
There you go.
Swaps up here.
Yeah, okay, this is a comp that I expected. I ran this a lot with Ronin on I ran the Queen Reaper a lot with Ronin back on Umfa University. But both teams showing very different styles in terms of the backline right now. Ooh. Everything else is pretty much mirrored except for Azo and Sojourn. But as Grind immediately just says, "Hi, do you remember me?" Picks Try off immediately out the gates. Both teams clashing, but Joy Esports do not have their carries. Swifters eventually will get dragged down by Zephyrus. And now Shinji at 100 charge is very angry getting stuff in the corner. Koi's not long for this role, will be taken down by Ronin. And off of probably a rage-fueled revenge scheme, Grind just takes out their counterpart in the first engagement in the first 2 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, that is the power of the Wu Yang Curie. So much poke pressure. Orb from Wu Yang does splash damage, lots of pressure, and you only need one kunai to get secure the pick. You see Swifter's TP in here trying to make some opening space.
Nothing happening. He will get picked up by Shinji. As though will trade it fast on the Swifters, but RMM says, RMM comes in with the water orbs and just takes down Asdo. Shinji still on high charger try up into the corner, not long for this will be taken down. Shinji finds the backline. That will signal the retreat of Joy Esports as Swifters just went in super low, both bubbles forced, and everything just went downhill from there for Joey.
Yeah, I want to see Joy Esports be a little bit more careful with when they go in. Like you said, we're missing some cooldowns, some crucial abilities that would have let Swifters live for a little bit longer. Just be a little bit more particular, play distance for a little bit. You have to play cover quite well.
Grind finds Cry.
Cry's already gone.
Grind is on tear. Try taken down by Zephyrus. Full support's gone from Joey. Now you're staying on the point. Ronin takes on Swifters. Koi will trade out their counterpart in Shinji, resetting that recharge back to 0. But now Koi has to turn and run for the hills, waiting for his backline to return. Theory though, they are down their tank right now. We'll have a charge disadvantage going into this next fight as Shinji did fall, which means his charge is reset to 0.
Yeah, 4 ultimates, almost 5 on the side of Eternal Fury here. They can opt to play however they want. They can play slow, they can go aggressive, all the tools available for them. It looks like Trace is going in with bubble splits.
There's nothing far from that. As though with the 1 clock off to the side, Shinji, you commits the grab. Both supports throwing in from Eternal Fury, trying to find picks. A massive stun from the Tidal Blast. Shinji had that all put on him and finds, I think, 4 on the ground. Eternal Fury, though, invested 4 ultimates into that game, into that fight there. Joey only had the one to work with, being Asdo's overclocked, but now Joey have a bunch of ults coming in here, but they lose Asdo on the back end. Try manages to trade it back onto Zeverus at least, so it's just going to be a rush. It's going to be a rush touch to try to get to the point here. Koi still holding onto this Graviton Surge, but Ronan has his Death Blossom and is waiting for an opportunity to use it. Somebody does actually initiate overtime. Who will be Swifters under the point with the Death Blossom grab. Out comes out from Koi. He will get grind. RMM trains out Swifters. Koi finds Ronan. Try with the headshot to Shinji. And finally, Joey find a flip and stabilize after kind of being in the backseat the whole entire game. But they had to commit 3 ultimates just to flip the point back. The only silver lining is Eternal Fury don't really have that much to work with either. Only having the Blossom, and it's going to be up to Cry to not Ajax.
Yeah, now Joey Esports has kind of the tempo in their favor with the defensive position. They can opt to go in with the speed whenever they want. They don't have to try and take space to get to the point. They can just leave it out in the open. This Death Blossom for Ronan, though, could be quite massive here. As we say, 99% for Eternal Fury. Any fight win is damaging.
Yeah, so we get into the engage here. Both Zarya's caution. Knight Ronan finds Swifters up really early. The beat has forced from Cry. Koi unable to do anything on the point. Ronan finds 3. Try will eventually shut down Ronan's rampage, but Zephyrus manages to find Try. And that should be a flip coin for Eternal Fury. And Swifters, you can't keep dying first in the fights like this, buddy.
Yeah, Joey Esports just a little bit caught overextending, not quite on the same page with the Reaper Zarya. I mean, it's interesting to note that the composition for Eternal Fury, no speed boost. He's always slow walking with the Wu Yang Curie, and they were able to make the most of it. Were able to kite effectively when they needed to, and just slow push with all the pressure from that backline and the full charge Zarya when they needed to take the advantage. They didn't need the speed boost that round.
Yeah, and now going into the second point here, Joey Esports just opting to take the mirror. Asdo is on the Cassidy though. Ronan showing the Sojourn as Reaper is a little less effective on this map. I get, in my opinion, we'll see what both teams do here out the gates. But Swifter is opting to stay on the Reaper. Eternal Fury with a completely different DPS line. Both teams trying to fight for the bridge control here. Bowl is out onto Ronan. Doesn't find that much, but Ronan nearly takes down Swifters with a swift rail shot to the head. Swifters looking a little worse for wear, trying to hide on that corner. But Zeverus is trying the backline, but Shinji kind of stuck in a corner all on his lonesome. Eternal Fury support line trying to do everything to keep him. Asdo finds out Ronan. Shinji will trade it back onto Asdo. Koi finds grind. It's just back and forth here. Shinji finds Swifters, but while that was going on, RMM was just capping the point. Shinji will find his opposite number in Koi, and that will be another pick from Shinji with a secondary fire on the Cry from downtown. Eternal Fury, they capped the point despite trades going back and forth for a while there.
Yeah, Shinji's just been a monster on this Zarya, on this Nepal, on this first map. It's actually crazy how many final blows are going towards that Zarya. I think the composition with the Wu Yang Curie synergizes much better with the Tracer Sojourn than it does the Tracer Reaper. I think is probably a core of why Shinji's able to just walk forward with so much charge a lot easier. Yeah,
you see the perk disadvantage too. Try only having that 1 orb, RMM only having a 3 orb because he was on the Wu Yang last round. Asdo just getting bullied by Zeverus in the side lane here. Meanwhile, but the point does flip over to the side of Joey. Swifters with a little sneaky flip there, and now Null is charged up. Zuzu already forced out of grind. Shinji trying to do his best to play bodyguard, but Shinji nearly gives his life for that. The support is there from the side of Eternal Fury. Kitsune Rush out from grind, and Koi can't go anywhere. No mobility on that Zarya, just gets melted by the combined effort of Eternal Fury. They flip the point back. RMM looking a little worse for we're really low. Their Swifters eventually is forced out as Joey has to turn tail. They have no take. Grab committed from Shinji. Doesn't find anybody. Swifters is able to sliver the corner there. A little bit of a whip from Shinji. And now Joey having all the advantage coming into this next fight.
They need to swing this fight with the Kitsune Rush and try and use nothing more if they can. Here it is, Kitsune Rush down the left side lane, will force everyone out, but the Tracer's still contesting the point here. Swifters needs a little bit of help with this Tracer and will get that help. It's a full kite from Eternal Fury, otherwise, no kills off of that Kitsune Rush, but they get mapped to position.
Yeah, Zever is doing a really good job starting his full Tidal Blast out on to the Tracer. Swifters comes in with a Death Blossom from the top ropes and finds Zez on the back end. Koi finds another one to Ronin. Point still in control for Eternal Fury here, but they finally do manage to find the flip off. Joey, though, having to commit both support ults, both DPS ults. Actually, not DPS, as though. Actually, yeah, both DPS. They only have this Graviton Surge to work with. But Eternal Fury coming back in almost with the Kitsune Rush and everything up here. Shinji kind of playing up in the main choke. No, looking for a grab. Try! Finds Zev out early. The grab comes in, catches two. That will signal the end of this fight as Eternal Fury has to turn tail and get back to their spawn.
Yeah, saving grace for Eternal Fury here, you didn't decide to use any ultimates. You still have that Sojourn ultimate most importantly, and you're getting really close to that Curie ultimate. You lived the major win condition for Joey Esports that they had. That Graviton is gone. No ultimates for them anymore.
No ultimates going in. No ultimates for Joey. Pulse Bomb out from Zevris is a little bit of a whiff. Asdo nearly oversteps into the face of Zevris and RMN. Swifters up in the face of Shinji, trying to give him the business end, but RMN somehow takes down Cry out upstream. Swifters can't hold up to that high charge Zarya. Shinji will take him out. Zevris finds another one on to try. Ronin still has his overclock if he chooses to use it. And now, Joey Esports, Asdo doing his best just to try to stall out the points for as long as he can. They will get up to 80%. It's final fight for both of these teams now.
Yeah, final fight, try close to that Wu Yang bubble. That's going to be the key for Joey Esports here if they want to try and get this point back. But Shinji's waiting in this doorway with the grab. It's going to get onto two. Gets the Wu Yang. Most importantly, Suzu's gone. They are able to live. The Wu Yang bubble has to be used on themselves. They're trying to make a play for this point here. Swifters is eliminated by Ronin with those neutral shots, and Zevris will find some other picks here. RMM. It's all going the way of Eternal Fury in this fight.
And
that is the first map win going to Eternal Fury.
Yeah, yep, there we go. Water always loved to type that back when I was on Oomphy with the old man himself, Ronin. They like to call him the old man. Not saying everybody else should do it, but Fury pretty dominantly take the first map on both points. They were pretty much in the driver's seat for majority of the time. And Shinji on the Zarya gameplay in this opening fight here. Dropped down to 55 HP at one point. They're trying and manages to find 3, but Shinji making up for that whiffed grab by catching Try in the second one at least.
Yeah, Nene grab, but we won't really talk about it much more than that. He was fighting demons, but I
think he was trying to catch. I think he thought
he was trying to catch the Reaper. He was trying to catch
the Reaper, and then he threw it under the wall to try to catch anybody that was in the choke, trying to help Swifters.
Grab aside, amazing gameplay from Shinji on that Zarya. Really, really strong play so far.
He's a very, very solid tank player. He does get a little ahead of himself, as some tank players usually do that. Some tank players always have that little bit of a, I can kill this person, oh wait, I'm alone, I'm dead type thing going at sometimes, because you get into that moment. I will say it happens to me myself too. Playing with Shinji on Eternal Blackjack in that KL tournament or the weekend tournament. He's a very solid tank player, very flexible too. If you tell him to play, if he can go over to the Sigma, he can go over to the Queen, Orisa. Not that many heroes the guy can't play.
Yeah, one thing I want to highlight about this matchup, obviously Reaper has been kind of the most dominant pairing with Zarya so far that we've seen in the past month or two. But really, the Sojourn, I think, provided a lot of value for Eternal Fury there. I don't think Joey Esports was correctly contesting the Sojourn angle or the Tracer angle. Yeah, you have the kind of this Tracer 1v1 going on, but having the ability to send a Sojourn on that angle as well, sometimes also a Wu Yang, just being able to send, okay, we have stabilized in the front line, we can send an extra person to try and win that side fight fast, and then now you have a really strong pinch from 2 directions. I think that was really, really important for Eternal Fury, just managing that Reaper pressure that Joey Esports put out, especially on that second map.
Yeah, now Joey, they get to either defer the map pick to Eternal Fury if they want to take first ban. They did do this against Milkman last week, where they deferred the map pick to take first ban. Now, Eternal Fury though, you get first ban in this next map unless Joey defers. Joey, of course, do get to pick which map type we go to next, because there's not a certain order. That I don't think there's a certain order. I think you can just pick whatever you want.
Do you have a preferred map that you want to play here if you're Joey Esports, preferred map type or anything?
So I think that the map types that Eternal Fury lost to the Unction. I believe they're hybrid, escort, and flashpoint. They kind of seem a little bit, if they don't seem as strong on those points. It's specifically escort and hybrid because they really can't push it. Because there are times where you can't push the tempo. You just can't. Like that's just how the map is designed. You either have to play slow or whatnot. As we're going to escort, going to Shambali Monster. I think this is the first time I've seen this map played all series.
Yeah, Shambali. Obviously, I think you can see from the previous.
Yeah, it was
stats here,
Shambali Monster
only...
it was Shambali Monster that the
Yes.
Eternal Fury lost to the Unction last week. They got full held on this map.
Yeah, very, very interesting map. I see this map as kind of like a hybrid between Havana and Kings Row. In my mind, that's kind of how I like to see it played. As you see the ban immediately from Joey Esports banning out that Sigma shows them.
Yeah, but they know Shinji's probably gonna want to play the Sigma here.
Yeah.
He did not play the Sigma last week here. I will say that though. He played the Zarya. So you got that going for you. Although what happened to Eternal Fury was they got stuck in the part of the map
Yes.
where a lot of teams get stuck, the final bend of first point.
Yes.
At that point, that area, you really can't push the tempo that well without sacrificing the card or maybe sacrificing or trying to contest card because there's a high ground control. There's 3 angles. There's technically 4 angles of attack that the defending team can like send flankers on.
Yeah.
And it's just it's probably one of the most like brutal points to cap in escort, just because of how like the cart cap point is just is basically a giant kill box.
Yeah, so very interesting here. Joey Esports following the game plan from the Unction on this map. Unction banned Sigma when they played this last week, so maybe the response ban is going to be the same from Eternal Fury. They're also going to ban Kiriko. That might be the case.
I don't think they're gonna ban Kiriko because they really looked around the Kiryu. If anything, you might want to. If anything, I think they could slow the pace down. Ban out maybe the Lucio.
Banning the Kiriko means you cannot play Kiri Lucio, which is inherently faster than Bap Lucio. So maybe that's the motivation behind the Kiri Lucio. Is that we can deal with Bap Lucio, bro. The Kiri Lucio brawl is the problem. Maybe that's the idea behind banning the Kiriko. But like you said, if you want to if you want to bring it slow, just ban Lucio.
Both teams, I think, last week, the Unction, I think, like when Kira was banned out, the Unction like reverted to Ana Wu Yang. So did Eternal Fury, but Eternal Fury didn't look like they are well practiced on that backline, as it looked as they got stuck in the first part of the map, which you have to break the high ground chokehold. Then the inevitable happened where were at an ultimate disadvantage. They didn't have anything going to the final fight, and the card just got stuck like on the final bend of first point. Eternal Fury again have their thinking caps on right now, and we're just sitting here waiting for them to ban out somebody. Again, I think they banned out Kiri last week. I don't know if they're gonna do that again against this team. It would surprise. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if they, they say it wouldn't surprise me if they maybe try to ban out like the Lucio. I don't think they're ever going to ban DPS because as good as Zev and Ronin are, they aren't the most flexible in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I just see ban Wu Yang is the final selection here, so opting for a different support ban than they did previously. Maybe this is kind of just a read on how that map went, saying we much more value the Kiriko than we do the Wu Yang kind of in that kind of.
I think this is also signals more a mirror backline than like maybe like the Lucio Wu Yang. I don't think we're gonna see the BAP here really because there's no Sig on the table. I think it's just gonna be Kiri Lucio, which it has been like that since Kiri was released back. Kiri was released back how many years ago? At this point,
yeah,
she's always been a mainstay. Yeah, give a support, give the support at launch. Give the support like a 3 times dead headshot multiplier, the highest in the game. They have decreased that since then. Even though I loved Kiri at the start, that was if you didn't hit more of shots, it was a little too much. And then give her invulnerability, give her a TP, give her a double TP with the perk system in the first iteration. she's not ludicrous with the double TP anymore because obviously that's not in the game anymore. But
Yeah.
oh, Shambali was picked by Eternal Fury. Joey deferred. This is interesting to
No,
me.
we didn't pick up on this.
We didn't pick up on the Joey hand first. Obviously, we should have. But this is interesting to me. Unless you have scripted this map since the unction, or you think this is the map that you can get more momentum in. This might backfire on Eternal Fury because they did not look well practiced on Shambali against the unction. Albeit, who really is Shambali? A lot of people forget Shambali is a map.
There's a lot of maps that people just don't like to play.
So.
This forces, as I found out in the LAN tournament at my university, every single team played first map Lijiang, second map Kings Row. And I mean,
those are the most those were probably the most popular maps since Overwatch 1. So
yeah,
you got. I do think Blizzard should like extend into like maybe adding like a couple more maps in the other like neglected types, i.e. Push and Flashpoint. They did give us Atlas, but for some reason I don't get the Atlas hate. I love the map. I think it's really well designed.
Can we? Here's a very interesting thought. Can we bring Horizon Lunar Colony back as an escort map? Thoughts?
I thought. Okay,
put it in the comments below.
I mean, when Clash came out, that map, that whole entire mode is flawed. I thought that maybe Blizzard was gonna refurbish the 2CP modes and like just make them modes that are currently in this day and age. Like, I mean, my idea for Hanamura was to change it into a push map and have like one side spawn like being the Hanamura, and one side spawn being Kanazaka, because Kanazaka is just an extension of Hanamura, so it would make sense. But we'll see Joey on the.
Look at
Joey's trying to figure out stuff right now. As here's some more.
Curie Lucio May.
Cry is okay.
I prefer for the widow shot.
Yeah,
it's interesting though. It's interesting the backline here for Eternal Fury. That rig, very kind of robust, hold this position backline.
I think they have the read that Joey is most likely going to play dive here. Not the worst read ever. Ronin. Over onto the Ashe on the sideline. You see Zephyrus kind of being a nuisance in the backline. Nearly actually is able to pick up Asda, but Zev has to turn down and get the heck out of there. The Eternal Fury have completely relinquished control of the high ground and are just giving a lot of free space.
They kind of have to give the space because if they don't have a good angle to put a dynamite down or a venture a dig on the rotation for Joey Esports, it just doesn't work for them to take the brawl fight. As they
Swifters
finally do get that play.
So Swifters is the first to fall. What do you know? With the invulnerability cooldown available, but Asdo sends a rail through the torso of Ronin, and now we're back to square one. But the only silver line where the cart is right now, Eternal Fury have a closer spawn point than Joey currently as it sits. Ronin will be returning here fast. Grind up into the high ground in the sights of Swift Asdo. Doesn't have the full rail here. Zephyrus looking for a little bit of engage. There's the ice block forced out of Swifter's very early as engage. A big dynamite hit from Ronin will force a Suzu, but Swifter sends an icicle in the direction of Ronin, saying get the heck out of that window, as now we're just in a stalemate here. Both sides, nobody has fallen yet on either side. Ronin drops the half HP from I think a quick buy shot as Swifters forces an ice block, pops out of it immediately. Zephyrus and Swifters are in the duel of who has the worst aim right now in the back line. As Zephyrus forced away. Graviton Surge out from Shinji, finds two. Swifters retaliates with the Blizzard, and Shinji is caught in the corner. Asdo and Koi find Zephyrus and RMM out, window out from Grind, trying to keep this Zarya alive. A big wall from Swifters will completely shut that down. Koi manages to find Shinji, and that'll be first point for Joey Esports.
Really good play from that May.
Grind is in trouble. Yeah, Grind should die here. No, this is horrible for Eternal Fury, especially if Grind doesn't live. He somehow manages Grind. RMM Shinji to the rescue. Managed to get their Baptiste out of dodge, but now Joey Esports, they have 3 ultimates going in here. Yes, Eternal Fury do have a couple of their own. Bubble out onto Zephyrus here early, looking for a potential engage, but Joey Esports, their comp, it's just kind of just gain free space. tectonic shock out from the side of Zevris, and Zevris maybe went a little too far with the 300% cooldown acceleration. Here's the OC from Asdell, manages to find out grind. And now Eternal Fury, Zevris is still in the backline, nowhere to be found. Beat comes out from Cry. Try manages to take down Shinji. Armam will trade it back onto Try, but Koi manages to find Armam immediately out there. The bomb is still kind of being a nuisance on the sideline, but that will be second point here for Joey Esports.
Yeah, just not a lot of tools to really be able to kind of stall that point out, and once the tool became available, he was already picked in the backline as Zevris goes down again.
Swifters! Swifters showing when they're not dead, they're clicking heads. So now Eternal Fury, in a world of hurt, having to back off here. Now Zevris has decided to have enough with the Dig Dug, goes over to the man himself. Ronan finally puts the end to Swifter's rampage and hits him with that newly buffed Ash. And Zevris, while on a Koi is forced to back off here. He does have that Annihilation to reset his armor, but we'll just back off to fight another day as Joey have a couple ultimates going in here. Eternal Fury still sitting on nothing.
Yeah, Grav is going to have to be big here for Shinji again if they want to try and find something. We'll see what they can pop out. Only a little bit towards ultimate, but Joey Esports, they already have them. The Blizzard goes in towards the backline, will force Bubbles out from that Zarya and get the freeze pick as well.
Try find Shinji
up here with the ultimate.
Shinji committed both Bubbles, I think, to try to save their May. Yes, it did, but only for a little. Zevris is still behind there in the backline. Joey, with a record pace here, just sitting on the car looking to escort it in. As nobody, I think, can catch the wall. Doorway is rolled off. Koi doesn't even need to commit his Annihilation. And Joey, with a blazing time of 3:28, I said this map pick could come back to haunt Eternal Fury, given what they had last time. And if you're Eternal Fury, if I'm Eternal Fury or anybody on Eternal Fury, I'm wondering why the hell did we pick this map?
Yeah,
As though Koi and Cry never died.
I see a little bit of a vision with the composition they played, but it fails to take account the fact that there is not enough pressure to just stop the Ramatra from walking. You don't have if you don't set up the angles correctly, there's no pressure to stop Joey Esports from just walking around the side or just walking straight to the Zarya. And when you have the Mei, it makes it so much easier to do that. As Joey Esports composition just has much more of a concrete idea of what their game plan is. Eternal Fury is a little bit mixed in terms of what it want to do. It has some decent brawl capabilities, also has some good poke capabilities, and it's just stuck in the middle, didn't commit to either one, and they got found out.
Yeah, now, Eternal Fury, of course, I don't think RMM's going to be on the more. That is a complete troll pick. But both teams coming out with different styles here. RMM over to the Juno. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it can work maybe. Let's see, it's gonna be a much different style of walking.
Okay, this is so Eternal Fury taking a page out of Joey's book, because Joey ran this backline against Milkman last week. Kirimura, very interesting. And Joey, Eternal Fury is foregoing, trying to take the high ground. Shinji just playing main, loses all of his armor, but Swifters does drop down. Is in a kind of a world of hurt, as those Swifters are in need of some healing now. Spear goes out, only hits Koi. Koi, though, is currently walled off right now. Slow is eaten by the spear spin of Shinji, and now Joey Esports have to turn tail and get off that high ground a little bit. They are working worse for wear. Health bar is not returning to their form. Cry will be found out by RMM. RMM finds another one. Shinji with two, and that will be but the silver lining was nobody was pushing the card for Barry.
If you're Joey Esports, you have the Lucio Kiri, you have Mei Sojourn. Yeah, it's not the most impressive brawl capability possible, but you do have to try and make use of that speed. If you're not making use of that speed, you might as well be playing another character, as they just did not decide to do anything. Just sit on that high ground and neutrally slow walk backwards.
Suzu is already forced. Cry falls down to half HP already. Koi just trying to sit on the corner here as Swifters falls on the sideline. Zevris with an extremely fast blizzard here. Luckily, Koi is able to escape the grass, but unfortunately for Asdil, unable to. Cry will fall to Roded, and Zevris kind of being a nuisance in the front line. Koi will manage to punch them to death in the front line, but then runs afoul of the Arista Spear to the face.
And Eternal Fury is just walking forward with ability cooldowns. They have a lot of characters with high like ultimate cycle times. Moira, Kiriko build their ults pretty fast. You saw right there, Zevris certainly capable of building that Blizzard fast. 30% above Swifters on the ultimate charge. So very impressive. Joey Esports is they're not using this speed at all. They're just standing a corner waiting for something to happen and then trying to do it. Now they make an aggressive play with that wall. They catch out the Mei, they catch out abilities, but they're still gonna need to commit here. Double supportals for Eternal Fury.
Swifters gets walled off and that ice block pops out and just gets a kunai to his gut. Coalesces out here from RMN. Shinji looking a little worse for wear, has forces TP and the Suzu from Grind, and Grind will pay for saving his tank. Beat out from Cry, manages to help stabilize here. Overclock from Asdo, just pumping the rails into this horse who will not go down until finally a swift headshot to the face will end the Shinji's life. And now Joey Esports only having to commit 2 ultimates there. Eternal Fury commit both support ultimates, came up empty-handed.
For Joey Esports, now you finally have Kitsune Rush, you finally have Blizzard, you finally have Ramatra. You have to go aggressive with one of these. I need Joey Esports to pick up the tempo on when Eternal Fury is actually walking. Just do something unexpected.
Rush comes out from the side of Joey Esports, and Shinji almost gets melted down. Fortify Spear Spin forced out very early. Bob comes in from the side of Eternal Fury trying to flip this fight. Shinji manages to find out Cry out of nowhere, and now Swifter's in a little bit of an awkward position. That tosses the Blizzard out in his final breath. Swifters manages to find out Ronin. Koi will find Shinji. Koi finds another one, RMM. Blizzard out from Zevris. It doesn't catch Koi, but Koi's completely cut off from the rest of his team. But Zevris and Grind will eventually fall to Asdo, and Joey commits a couple. Yes, they committed almost everything they had, but so did Eternal Fury, and RMM foregoing the Moira, stating the M stands for Moira. The other one, we still don't know what the other one stands for, but I'm going to Lucio now.
Mercy, it stands for Mercy. Koi has a Annihilation now, could be a very interesting tool to use to kind of hold this objective on this corner a little bit longer. Shinji's ultimate as well on that Orisa could be an interesting tool. Maybe pull people around the corner if they decide to use it. We bait out the Mei wall first though, as we look to see maybe Asdo with the Sojourn ultimate will be the difference maker in this fight.
Maybe. Eternal Fury only have this Terror Surge to work with now. Shinji taking that shield means he doesn't have the capability to walk in with the Spear Spin anymore. Grind does have this Kitsune Rush here. Here comes the Kitsune out from Grind. Asdo comes flying in like a Predator missile from the backside. Both Meis traded. Asdo still is somehow alive. Shinji finally punches them in the face and ends their life. Annihilation out from Koi will find RMM, but Shinji again with a quick spear to the gut ends the Ramatra's bliss, and Shinji another punch on the Try will end their life, and now it's just Cry on the sidelines trying to do what they can here. Cry decides to turn and run for the hills, but Ronin finds him with the dynamite as Cry in the corner just burns to death.
Okay, this part of the map might be a little bit better for the Ashe. Maybe it's more open, but you still have this Orisa that you have to try and get through the main here. Especially staring down the barrel of that Kitsune Rush for Try, it's going to be a little bit difficult. But if Try goes down early, maybe they don't even need to commit anything really. Kitsune Rush for Try pop to try and equalize here. They have to do it to try and hold this card at the choke. And Eternal Fury, they're wise. They decide to back up.
They're wise. They decide to back up and turn the heck to get out of there. But it will buy time for Cry to return the fight with that sound barrier. Ronin taking a couple icicles down low. Still decides to full sights in. Swifter is forcing the ice block. Blizzard comes out. Doesn't catch anybody. It will catch RMM. RMM unable to be kept alive. Terror Surge out from the side of Shinji. Suzu and Beat both committed to live through the Terror Surge. No, trying to forego their Orisa into the backline. Doesn't find anything with that Nem form. Bob was committed into the backline by Joey Esports. Zevers finds Cry. As the Wolf find the Bob, Zevers with another one on the Koi. And now Joey Esports on the back foot here. Eternal Fury knocking on the door with 3 ultimates still to their name. And Swifter is looking a little worse for wear as he is kind of stuck on an island all by his own. Zevers still with his Blizzard in hand with Ice Block forced out of Swifter is Blizzard out from Zevers, beat out from RMM, Rush committed as well from Grind. Eternal Fury want to end this fight, end it now, and they will just overpower the remainder remaining forces of Joey Esports who have no ultimates to answer back in this fight. The only silver lining for Joey, they have a 2-minute advantage on the time bank.
They got stalled up for a little bit on that second point, but ultimately Eternal Fury pretty free rolling through the first and third points. The bob from Ronin on that third point, really good angle, caught the rest of Joey Esports kiting away while Koi was just stuck in the front line in that corner. It's an easy pick off for them. And
Swifters has the most deaths in the lobby.
I mean, as labeled on the tin, isn't it? They always say Swifters dies first, and look you see most deaths.
Yeah, but the crucial thing was Eternal Fury got stuck on second point for quite a while, so that gives Joey the upper hand in terms of their defense here, because now you don't get any extra time. What you got is what you got.
Yeah. We're going to see Eternal Fury look to run a very similar composition. No Moira this time. Maybe a Baptiste.
If the double M stands for Mercy Moira, what does the R stand for?
Reaper. It has to be, right?
I was gonna say Roided, but I don't know if that makes any sense.
Far is an interesting pick. Maybe you see Joey Esports continuing with the Lucio. They need to not get caught in this just we need to hold the space and try and get the brawl fight. You need to try and make something happen with the ability of turning the tempo that you do with the Lucio. Like you don't want to leave any abilities on the table, any possible things on the table for when you're planning to do things. So we'll see if they try to approach this defense a little bit differently. Yeah,
they're doing the Eternal Fury on the attack here. They're pretty much doing the same thing they did last time. Nobody is pushing the cart currently for Eternal Fury, but Telfar's looking a little bit worse for wear on the side of Eternal Fury. But Joey again forego the high ground, just letting Eternal Fury have it, and now Eternal Fury are on the wrong side of the map as Joey have kind of done a little flip flop. The big diamond out from Ronin. Suzu is already out forced from Tri. Ronin will find Swifters. Ronin another one onto Koi. Ronin finding a couple picks here will get the cart moving for Eternal Fury, but most importantly, Joey have at least a couple more fights left remaining. We only need to win one fight here, as nobody was pushing that car, which means by the time the next fight breaks out, it's gonna be do or die for Eternal Fury here.
Yeah, Joey Esports just caught in a little bit of miscommunication. Not all the team was deciding to try and flip the map the way that Koi was positioned, and they got punished for that split that they ended up having to take. Here we see Swifters on the side fight trying to make some space maybe for Tri to go forward with Koi, forcing a lot of cooldowns earlier.
Yeah, Ice Block already forced, but Shinji with a quick spear to the gut finds Swifters. Ronin finds a cry again. And this Orisa is paying off. This Orisa pick for Eternal Fury is really paying off. Koi will get speared back again. No Nem form. We'll just select to sacrifice himself on the card as the rest of Joey Esports turn tail to get the heck out of there. First point is capped by Joey, not Joey, Eternal Fury. But this is the part of the map where Eternal Fury got stuck.
Yeah, if you're Eternal Fury though, since it's overtime and you look at the ultimates you have a Bob almost, you have a Blizzard, you have Orisa, and you have Baptiste window. All of those are going to be good at buying you time, buying you space to walk this card even further. They just need to manage a quick engage that might be possible from Joey Esports here if they look at Kitsune Rush.
Yeah, Zevra is using that perk to get up onto the high ground here. I don't think, as was expecting that overclock out from the side of Joey Esports. Both DPS ults committed from the side of Eternal Fury, but they both net nothing, but maybe a little bit of extra space here. Eternal Fury still have a couple ults to work with. Try. Uses the Kitsune Rush. Kitsune Rush out from Grind. Terra Surge. Here comes the Terra Surge from Shinji. Perfect Suzu manages to save the Ramacho's life. Blizzard out from the Swifters. Nobody has fallen. Annihilation out from Koi here. Koi looking to try to end this fight, but the shield cuts off the healing. RMM manages to pick out the angry Ramatra. Both teams still fighting tooth and nail. RMM finds it in the second one onto Cry. The push is still alive. Shinji with a quick spear to the face for Swifters will eventually take out the Mei. And now it's just Try left on his own to try to fight against the world. RMM will pick him off, and another point cap from Eternal Fury.
the fact that you were not able to get any picks and the fact that that beat is just a few half seconds late to save Koi makes all the difference. The fight goes long and it'll always be advantage towards Eternal Fury with that Ashe, with that Mei, and that Baptiste. You see Koi is just stuck in the front line again, and perfect Maywall from Zevras.
Perfect Maywall from Zevras cuts off everything. Shinji will pick him out, and now Zevras already up to another Blizzard grind. Manages to find tryout early in the the rest of Joey is retreating here, and now Joey on the back foot again here as Eternal Fury knocking on the door of full capping this map twice. Cry goes away from the Lucio, looking to mirror the Bab. Window out from RMM very early here. Koi is the last hope for Joey Esports. Gets on the point. Asno manages to snipe Ronin out. Blizzard from Zevras in an effort, but Asno having none of it will take down RMM. Shinji does that. Let's make to find Koi in the backline grind. Down to 1 HP. Shinji with another one on to Asno. Swifters manages to trade back grind. Zevras finds one on to Cry, and now it's just a Mei, and it's just this Mei and Kiri against the world right now, trying to live on the point. Blizzard out from Swifters. Zevras though finds tryout, both ice blocks coming out. Koi on the point with back to the point with the wrecking ball. Shinji finds another pick onto Swifters. The spear onto Koi will net him into the wall. A quick hack from Roni who returns to the summer. Zevras will melt down the ball. A nice spear again from Shinji will tack Asno to the wall. Shinji eventually falls, but Eternal Fury, another full cap of the map off of Shinji, just refusing to give up.
You know, maybe we were doubters, guys. We were doubters in the composition. We were doubters in the ideas that Eternal Fury were putting forward on this map. But when push comes to shove, their players got the backbone to play Mei and get the win.
Yeah, as I thought this. Where was this in week 1?
No, I think it's Eternal Fury is doing a much better job with their timing of when they're deciding to walk forward, and Joey Esports is getting caught lacking on their rotations a bit. And we saw in that first point, half the team decided to back around the corner of the cart path, and half the team decided to kind of try and hold up in that room, protect the cart, make sure they couldn't get the touch, and that split up really messed them up. And then from there, just ult economy rolling through. You have that one fight in second point, which may be winnable, but goes mildly not in your favor, and then the whole map's getting out of hand from there.
Yeah, both teams electing to say the same thing. Eternal Fury realizing that the Zarya really wasn't working. Shinji is just sticking on the Orisa here. Let me change this Asno over to the Cassidy. We'll see what both these teams elect to do as the spawn doors open here. Trying to just get a little card push at the very beginning. Koi though already loses out on that armor. But the most crucial thing for Joey right now is they are getting the card push. They are doing what Eternal Fury didn't. They do elect to leave the card here. Here comes the engage up into the high ground. Wall out from the side of Zevras. Doesn't catch anybody, but Zevras manages to find out Asno with the ice block tick damage. Koi will trade it back onto grind though, so a little bit better of a trade for the side of Joey here. But the big dynamite from Ronin lands into that room, and Joey looking a little bit worse for wear. They send Swifters onto that point. Koi down to half HP, in need of some care. Headshot on the Cry nearly will take her out. Dynamite goes wide though here, and now Fury electing just to back off, try to take the fight in the next corner.
Yeah, Joey Esports, they're building to some ultimates, but Zevras is closer to the ultimate on that man. Look at that kind of aura from the Blizzard. Does so much damage. I believe it's 60 DPS. Very high damages. Koi's stuck in this room, and we'll be able to get out.
We'll be able to get out here. Here we'll see if Joey are expecting this very early Blizzard from Zevras. Dynamite out from Ronin. Likes to call people on fire. Suzu already forced, and Shinji with a nice spear manages to find Swifters out in the chaos. Zevras out of that ice block, uses the Blizzard. Cry will fall. Try gets frozen for a split second. Ronin finds Koi. Try will eventually manage to end the Ice Queen's rampage. But now, if you're Eternal Fury, you only have a couple. Yeah, maybe a couple ults here. Joey Esports though, you have 1 minute 48 seconds to get this first point, and then you still have to continue through the entirety of the map.
Yeah, Bob is gonna stall a lot of time here for Eternal Fury. That window, like we saw on their attack, can stall a lot of time. Joey Esports, they need to trust in this Kitsune Rush fight here. If they can get value with that Kitsune Rush, they will cap this first point.
Yeah, as there comes the freeze out from Swifters onto Zeverus, but Zeverus will be saved here. As Koi manages to find armor in the chaos, Shinji with another spear on the cry manages to find the most. Swifters will be traded, finds his counterpart in Zeverus. Bob still on the point, doing a lot. Zeverus will find another pick onto Azdo. Annihilation committed by Koi. The sidelines is now. You only have a minute remaining. Zeverus finds try. Zeverus finds Koi. That will be 5 for the May.
Big plays from the May here on this whole map. It's been the story going through. May been the difference. Swifters not quite up to the level of Zeverus and Eternal Fury. They got 2 spacing ultimates and an aggro ultimate with that Kitsune Rush. Lucio beat and 2 DPS ultimates for Joey Esports. There is an opportunity here to try and make a play, but they have to move fast. Only 30 seconds left.
30 here's. This might be it, as Swifters are very aggressive into the front line. Can't even use the Blizzard, gets stunned out by Shinji! Here comes the Deadeye out from Asno, the beat will support it! No picks found by the Deadeye. As nobody's... Oh, Swifters only one missing from this fight. Terror Surge from Shinji will do a bunch of damage to Koi. As Zeverus finds try off screen, Koi will get followed by Shinji. And Ronin finds Asno. And only 10 seconds remain. Joey on the back foot. Swifters is the only person alive, but I don't think he's going to be able to get there as Eternal Fury. They looked like they didn't know what they were doing on their first offense, but after a couple full caps of the map, they will take it and go up 2-0 in this grand finals.
Really impressive play, very astute understanding of spacing and timing displayed here from Eternal Fury. Operating this slow comp to perfection, playing the angles correctly, timing the peaks correctly, and just being able to have the confidence to withstand these pushes here from the Ramacha comp as we see in this play of the game.
Yeah, as RMM played, I think 3 different heroes on that map, Moira, Bap, and then the Lucio. Obviously on the first defense, they were trying to play the Zarya. That didn't really work out for them. They go over to the Orisa comp, and that was the thing that they did. That they refused to do in the last time these two teams met. Like I said, last time these two teams met, Joey kind of were free to do whatever they wanted because Eternal Fury, even if what they were doing wasn't working, they continually rammed their head into a brick wall thinking it was going to work. Once they realized something's not working, they decided to change it up a little bit, and that. Look at the result, a 6-3 map score as Eternal Fury somehow managed to full cap that map twice off of that one little mistake from Koi going a little too aggressive into the face of the entirety of Eternal Fury.
Yeah, and that's kind of been the story here a little bit. Some small mistakes, some small misreads on what the play should be, and that's the difference between 2-0 maybe a 1-1 here in this grand finals.
Yeah, now Joey's on the back foot. They do get to either pick first ban or they can defer again. If I'm Joey, I don't really think. If I'm Joey, in my opinion, I don't think you want to defer again because then this can happen unless you really think your ban choice is going to affect Fury.
Yeah, I mean, let's look at the maps that are available here for Joey Esports to pick from. There's no picking from Control, that was the first point, and there's no picking from Escort, that was the map that was just played. So you have Flashpoint, Hybrid, and Push that are available. I don't see with what was displayed here. I feel like the only option has to be Flashpoint.
I feel like Flashpoint's going to be the pick for Joey. And this is the thing where it comes to when you're solo tanking, you have to be very flexible in terms of being able to play all the tank heroes, and also not being a type of person who says, I don't like this hero, yet I'm good at it. So which means I don't like this hero, I'm not gonna play it because not that I'm bad at it, but it's just because I don't like them. Again, you have that mentality. If you have that mentality, you don't belong on tank, in my opinion. But Joey, Flashpoint probably is the best pick for them. Last time these two teams faced off, Eternal Fury picked New Junk City and they lost it 3-0, albeit 2 of the points were very close. It was a 99-99 points. Against the Unction, though, they went to Servasa and got 3-0'd in pretty dominant fashion.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Sir Voss's the play, but I mean also we ended up on the second map for that series as well in Shambali, and it didn't quite work out the same way either. So maybe you opt to take it to Atlas. I know people hate that map, but I really
I don't
don't
know why
hate it.
people hate
They
that
just
map.
haven't
If
figured it out
if
yet.
anybody in chat hates that map, send me a paragraph of why you hate that map, and I'll give you 13 reasons why that map is like really good.
Yeah, I very much like that
I think
like
it's
that.
pretty well designed because it's one of the maps, in my opinion, that doesn't have a distinct playstyle. Like
Yeah, it to me it has the core essence of what Flashpoint should be, which is you can take a fight
Blizzard
anywhere.
World.
Blizzard World is the pick. Okay, very different here.
Very
We're
different here. Joey's picking this map despite being 0-1 on this map. They are decided to pick it. I think they were 0-1 against the Unction. I think the only time they lost the map was against the Unction.
mm,
Um, maybe I can't really. Yeah, it was against the Unction. It was a heartbreaking loss to them because it was an OT fight where it boiled down to Foliage grabbing I think 4 people and Luel getting a pulse bomb on them. Um,
mm.
so the last time they played Blizzard World, it was very close against the Unction. This is a whole entire new beast in Eternal
Yeah.
Fury, and so far, Eternal Fury have been looking pretty dominant on in this series, being able to push the tempo, really good at their rotations, being pretty on their ult usage. Like they look like they've buckled down and they've really fixed the issues that were a problem in the early season. And I don't really think Joey having like Joey are used to seeing this. Like play first play style, and it might be throwing them for a loop a little bit. But if you're Eternal Fury, you get the first ban pick here. What are you banning out?
I mean, oh, there
Sojourn.
it is. Just Sojourn pick. I mean, that's not a pick
They
that
want to play Cassidy or Ashe.
yeah, that's not a pick that Eternal Fury has really been trying to play this series, so I'm not surprised by the Sojourn pick. I think this could have been a map maybe that you could ban Lucio, and that would make everything very, very slow, which has been good for them. They've been able to take tempo in these slow compositions somehow. So maybe on a map like this, maybe you're saving that Lucio ban for Flashpoint. Try and slow down Flashpoint instead. Joey Esports
Maybe.
response ban. I mean, maybe you don't want to work on the Zarya. Maybe just or not the Zarya, the Orisa. Maybe ban the Orisa. But then
It's not a
again,
bad.
you
It's
like
not a
to play
bad pick.
Zarya.
It's
You,
not a
you,
bad pick to ban the Orisa because in the later fight, because like unless you completely roll the Orisa team with Zarya, when she gets that major perk, the shield perk up, then she becomes an issue because Zarya's worst enemy is shields. It always usually
mm,
has been because you have to commit past them, then you cut an LOS. That's why a lot of people in rank think Ryan is the best solution to Zarya. I mean, can work, but then again, a lot of people in rank can't count the two.
very true. True statement. Ban Ana.
Ana.
Curious. I think Ana's pretty decent on this map, pretty good. But I think you have to have a pretty strong read on what the enemy team's gonna play to ban Ana.
I don't think I've ever seen Fury play traditional dive.
Hmm.
So this
That's
team's like a throw pick.
maybe. I mean,
Grind is always like favored more the BAP and the Kiri over the Ana. He's a good Ana, don't get me wrong, but I don't think Fury have like ever really played traditional dive in a sense because it's not that they're bad at it. It's just because the comp as a whole, if you get out, it can get easily out-tempered by Kiri Lucio, and then you're just like in a
hmm,
situation where, yeah, you have really good survivability, but you can't survive the onslaught like a 5-man hit.
yeah, and Lucio's still available here. Didn't decide to ban it here on this map, so very, very possible to still have that Lucio Curie in the back pocket for Joey Esports. But then again, I mean, with the Lucio composition, you have to rotate through the right side, kind of through the whole building around the back towards the gates, and then try and push through the high ground. So, I mean, if you're good on your rotation timing on Ana and you rotate very early, you can make it work. I know a lot of Ana players that they don't care about playing Ana into Brawl, and they rotate early, they hide around corners, they play with another support that can pick up more of the healing, and the Ana just plays for nade impact, for sleep impact. So maybe that's a read that they were like, they might try this. But I think it's just maybe Joey Esports is being really frazzled with being 2-0 down.
Maybe, but this is a territory where the do or die territories are when you're down 0-3.
Yeah.
But I feel like the 2-0 territory is more the do or die territory because you're on the back foot. You lost a lot of momentum. Mental may not be the best right now. You go down 0-3, that's pretty much the final nail in the coffin. So this is Joey has to get a grip here. They have to at least do something to flip this whole entire scoreline. At least get a map on the board, try to slow down the momentum of Fury. Because the one thing I know about Fury is once they gain momentum, it's very hard to stop it.
Yeah, and this is the most amount of momentum you can really ask for here. Going into map 3 off of full capping the second map twice, like there's no more possible momentum you could have than full capping Shambali twice.
Yeah, this is the comp that Joey ran against Milkman last week. It did work because there's really not a definitive target you can actually run at. Everybody's just everywhere.
Yeah, and it's going to be kind of more standard Zarya setup here for Eternal Fury, trading in that Reaper for a little bit more long-range pressure of the Cassidy. Tracer still on deck for both sides here.
Yeah, now, I think Joey are just going back to let's just try to create chaos, try to create 1v1s, just make sure they can't run down anybody, really. The one target they can is try on the wing, but you have to wait for the Surf to be out. But we'll see what happens here as the opening engagement happens. Everest is doing a little bit of sneaky beaky stuff. Nobody's going to him though in the Vikings. He does manage to find Cry out early. Cry forced the TP already. And now Joey, though, kind of have already surrounded the point, and Shinji is just kind of alienated in the middle of the point because he can't get up in the high ground. He can't really go anywhere. Running looking a little worse for wear on the side goes to half HP, and Asdale finally has enough as Everest and puts a couple of the pulse pistols straight up Zever's face. Both bubbles forced out from Shinji here, and now Cry finds RMM. Joey looked to be able to take his first point. Shinji does trade back onto Cry, but they are still at a disadvantage. Another bubble comes up from Shinji, as I think it's Ryan on the sideline doing their best to try to keep their Zarya up. Swifters falls to 1 HP. Zeros will manage to find that kill, and now Joey are in the back for a little bit here, trying doing his best to try to keep up his ball, just as he tries to turn tail 1, but the tracking from Shinji is too precise. He manages to find out the Wu Yang Null on the ball, trying to do his best to run for the hills. Zeros will manage to find him out, but 2 ticks secured by Joey.
Yeah, Shinji, is not really able in that position. You have to contest the point. You can't just full back with your team into that kind of hidey hole. It's too far away from the point. But they were able to live by being in that area. The trades come in, but ultimately when Joey Esports has to go to contest the point, that Zarya is a big obstacle they have to get around.
Yeah, and we'll see how this engagement shapes up here. Ronin just in the little covering hole with his 2 support buddies, playing bodyguard to them. Null and Swifters up into the high ground, looking for a possible hit here. Null already loses most of his armor. That did get nerfed in the mid-season patch a little bit here, but this Joey Esports trying to look for a way in. Recall already forced out from Zeros on the sidelines, but Shinji is just kind of being a nuisance as one of those laser beams that if you trip it, you die type things on the point. And Joey have not been able to find a way in until now. Swifters finds one onto Ronin, Corey will find a second one on the grind, as finally the patience of Joey Esports over the all-in hit manages to find both the backliners. Koi will smush RMM into the ground like a pancake. Azo finds his counterpart, and Azo eventually will drag down Shinji. That laser beam system needs a little bit of work.
Yeah, and now with the ability to have a Tracer or a Wu Yang push this payload, the composition for Joey Esports gets much more mobile, and it gets much more harder to deal with for Eternal Fury. They have ultimates that they can try and roll through here, try and make some fight wins with, but Joey Esports, they have all 5.
Joey Esports had all 5. Here comes the minefield out from Koi. Will get hit by the flashbang of Ronan, so the slam doesn't come through, and Koi has to get the heck out of there. The minefield, though, does split them up a little bit, will make it a little bit of a nuisance to get through. Cry onto the sidelines, and we'll be forced to TP away. You know, Eternal Fury making this rotation as there's a pulse bomb out from Asdo. We'll get Suzu, but the Suzu, no problem. Grind and armor in front of the Blaze. Swifters deflects that high noon right back into Ronan's face, saying it's not high noon, it's 10 p.m. Shut up.
Yeah, Swifters does not have the Mei gene, but they are him on Genji. Now Joey Esports, they used a lot of their ultimates to get that fight win. 4 ultimates they used, only the Kitsune Rush left, and Eternal Fury, they're looking like they have 4 ultimates to use in this next fight. Cards rolling through halfway through second here. We'll see if Eternal Fury can try and set up a fight where they can get a good Kitsune Rush.
Oh my god, what a stick from Zeverus onto Try. Try doesn't even know what hit him. RMM finds another one on the Swifters here, and only the pulse bomb committed from Zeverus here means that Fury won't be able to stabilize here. But actually, did Grind commit the Kitsune Rush off screen, I wonder? His ult meter is at 0, so I'm guessing
it did go across the bridge when the dive hit came in, just after Try died. So did get value with that ultimate. And still 2 ultimates in the banker for Eternal Fury. A Graviton Surge, if they can catch a backline member, catch a Wu Yang, maybe a Genji or something like that. We'll see what the Graviton can hit here.
Kitsune Rush out from Cry. Beat response from RMM, but again, nobody has died yet. It's just kind of neutral inside. Koi looking to try to at least find Grind out, but bubble from Shinji will prolong the Kiriko's life and allow them to get out. Koi, though, just rolls through Ronin. Ronin becomes a human bowling pin for the Wrecking Ball, but Shinji and Grind managed to find Cry and Swifters, but Try, I think that was 1 shot, 2 kills. Shinji will put an end to the Wu Yang, saving this fight here, as if Try was able to live through that and Shinji was a little lower, that probably would have gone south.
Yeah, Try is gonna have gonna be close to a Wu Yang ultimate here. Maybe you can use that onto the Tracer, try and find some value with that. But Shinji, highlighting it a little bit in the last fight, doesn't have a lot of targets to really use this grab onto unless you can kind of get a good position onto them. But really, Shinji's job is to contest part here. We'll see if they look for a solo grab. Pulls out with the Suzu, will not get any picks, and the grab does come out, and it's another Nene grab.
Cry gets caught out by the Deadeye this time. Asdo will go trade back onto Zeverus. Minefield out onto the point from Koi. Tidal Blast out from trying to Swifters. Koi with the minefield as Ronin and Grind just say Geronimo and dive into the minefield. That's not a pool, that's explosives.
Yes. And 2 ultimates used for Joey Esports. Nothing really left in the tank close to a Genji blade, but nothing to pair it with. That blade might as well just be a wet noodle. Maybe Swifters is just him, and we'll find value anyway.
Yeah, Zephyrus over to the venture here for this final point, as both teams lacking in ultimates here. Grind is the closest one for Eternal Fury. Swifter is close to that blade. Both teams just kind of poking at each other. Suzu is forced out by Grind, I think, in the backline by Asdo. And now Swifter's looking to go in aggressively. Both forced out onto Zeverus. Zeverus goes into the burrow. Shinji manages to find out Swifter. Swifter doesn't have a way to escape all that pressure. And Joey Esports are going to have to turn and tail and get the heck out of here. Only 1:15 on the clock here to try to get a 3rd point.
Yeah, they need to build their support ultimates as fast as possible. Eternal Fury, they got both of theirs already on deck now. See if they can make a play here. Null's going in, trying to create some distraction for Azzo to get into the backline. The Genji blade is popped and the Lucio beat in response. No value for that blade. And Shinji just walks up and kills Cry.
Oh. Shinji manages to find Cry. Koi manages to find Shinji. Zeverus on the Swifters. Azzo with the pulse bomb pick onto RMM. Kitsune Rush out here from Grind. Doesn't seem to be able to find anything. Ronin is cut on the side by the Wrecking Ball. Try manages to find it on the Grind. Kitsune Rush, a little bit of a cautionate ultimate or optimistic ultimate from Grind, as he didn't have really anybody to help him. Swifters has come back onto the Reaper. Slam out from the Wrecking Ball. Shields, 1000 HP Wrecking Ball. Get my eyes off of that site. Ronin is forced back right now as Joey Esports just trying to play for their support of his try. Tidal Blast up onto Swifters. Swifters looking for a big stun here. Will break the bubble of Shinji, but Shinji just gets a bunch of charge off of that. Asdo manages to find out Shinji after Shinji takes out Swifters. Tectonic Shock out here from Zerus. Mindful from Koi gets the point. As though manages to find RMM. Zerus stuck in the corner right now with that Tectonic Shock. Ronan will manage to find the Wrecking Ball eventually, and the spawn point is closer for the side of Eternal Fury. Try finds Ronan, Zerus takes down Asdo. Graviton Surge comes out here from the side of Shinji finally. Manages to find Tryout. Swifters another one on the Zerus. It's just Swifters and Cry here against the world in this overtime fight. Shinji will find Cry, and Swifters is not long for this rule. Will eventually go down. Wraithform Force, a mid-air shot from Shinji will take down the Reaper. Koi back onto the point, but he doesn't have them. No friends, no help, no nothing on this point here. As though he comes back into the point, throws the pulse bomb out, doesn't hit anything, and that will be the hold. But the Eternal Fury pretty much had to cap the entirety of the map as that point got dangerously close to third.
Yeah, it's a really good push from Joey Esports. That part of the map can be very difficult to hold, especially if you don't go into it with a real ultimate snowball, which they didn't really have. It was kind of even on both sides when they got to that point of the map. So it's something you're okay with here if you're Joey Esports. You pushed the tempo pretty fast for the first 2 points as well, so you should feel pretty good about yourself going onto this defense.
As RMM Zerus has pointed out that RMM is 6'7", and I still don't get it. I still don't get it. I never will. I think it's dumb. You can yell at me all you want. Nemesis always would say 6'7". I still don't understand it. I got called old for not understanding it.
Yeah, Ung don't get it. He don't get it.
Fuck, shut up! You're not that far away from me in age.
As you see, Joey Esports is going to continue this ball comp on their defense here. It's working out quite well for them into the Zarya matchup. I think Ball is really strong actually into the Zarya comp. You can find a way to isolate members, force into 1v1, split attention. It can work really, really well.
Yeah, and Joey are doing pretty good at these like executed 3-man hits from the DPSs. You see Koi here deciding that Christmas has come a little bit early on Blizzard World has decided to be a jingle bell on the high ground. 12 TP out here from Zeverish just to get their team through Vikings, but Null sees that rotation and has asserted his jingle bell position to another point of the map here. Not much looking here. Slam out from Koi will just be a little bit of a nuisance to Shinji for the time being. As Joey looking for a possibility of a way in. Ronan does turn to try to look at the Wrecking Ball, but I think the flashbang goes awry a little bit. Bubble force from Shinji onto Ronan. A nice Suzu from Grind will save them for the time being, but Try and Swifters, well, like, managed to find 2 picks on the rotation in, as now Eternal Fury are kind of caught on the island. They have 3 players up at the high ground, 2 coming back from spawn. Try and Cry though, looking a little bit worse for wear, fall low. Koi, being a nuisance as usual, does roll through, but now Eternal Fury are kind of stuck here until the reinforcements return.
Yeah, and as you said, they are stuck here, but Joey Esports can't attack into this room either. The charge from that Zarya, the stun from that Cassidy is too much to be able to push. They have gotten all their members into this room now. Now it's go button for them to try and rotate around the backside of this point towards the gates.
Yeah, rotation a little bit. Shinji decides to opt to go a different way and manages to beam down the Genji, catching down Swifters. Yet again, Swifters dives first. Now they're on the point here. Null is able to at least try to contest it. Slam gets stunned out by the flashbang from Ronan here. And now that will be 2 ticks secured for the side of about 2 ticks here secured for the side of Eternal Fury. Koi rolls through, looking a little bit worse for where the wave does come up from Try to save him. Try does have this tile blast. Will stick it onto his Genji, looking for a potential target. Manages to find RMM. RMM gets stunned, but will not die due to that blast. Running with a quick flashbang into Asdo will put it into that. Zeverish with a pulse bomb pick on a Try, and then immediately one clips him on a Cry up top, as RMM will finish off Koi, and that'll be the first point capped here for Eternal Fury.
Yeah, a little bit of indecision on which target to go for, and Swifters wasn't able to collect that pick onto the Lucio, caught Asdo going the other direction, weren't able to 2-man onto that stunned Lucio's. Now you have the ability to just have this Zarya park on the cart here, just walk through with it and grab whoever contests. If it's the ball, you might be able to get that pick if you have a Cassidy with you as well.
Yeah, you see Shinji though doesn't have any charge left, and that bubble onto Zeverish didn't net anything. Slam out from Koi. Koi looking a little bit worse for wear, but the shields are doing a good job of keeping him and healthy. Shinji drops extremely low, and now Eternal Fury are kind of just stuck in that room. The cart's right outside, but they can't really do that much about it. Shinji eventually does walk out. Swifters did drop very low. Asdo looking to be a little bit of a nuisance. Pulse Bomb on the doorway. I don't know what the doorway did to you, my guy. Grab from Shinji. We'll find 3. They do manage to melt down Koi. Asdo manages to recall out there after picking off Ronan and Zevris. With the combined effort of the entirety of the team, will give Swifters a quick smack upside the nose.
Yeah, and it's important to know here, dueling Kitsune rushes for both sides, but RMM with that defensive ultimate, the beat is available, should be able to withstand any dive push here for Joey Esports if Eternal Fury opts to use that tool.
Yeah, as Eternal Fury have forgotten the cart and are trying to go up to the high ground here. Koi sees that happening. Swifters will manage to take out Zevris with a little bit of help from Tri there. And now Koi kind of being a nuisance on the outside. Zevris is the only person down on the side of Joey. But again, Eternal Fury is positioning themselves in areas where Joey's comp really can't access without risking themselves getting stunned out. Koi up onto the high ground slam will hit nothing as the entirety of Eternal Fury decide to rotate out. Kitsune rush onto the point, looking for any picks here. No picks being found yet. Retaliation Kitsune rush from Cry. Pulse Bomb out from Zevers. No connections found. Minefield from Koi under the point. Swifters falls 1 HP. Suzu forced from Grind. Both teams, nobody has died yet. This has just been a stalemate. Koi rolling through, do a little bit of damage. Here comes the blade from Swifters. The tidal blade blast. We'll find RMM before he can actually get the beat off. Asdo lines another one to Ronan. Koi is down, so they don't have a take, but Zevers. But now the Swifters will find out Shinji. Swifters another one to Grind. Before that, Grind did take out Asdo. And now, if you're Eternal Fury, now you're in a very hairy territory. As you have about 2 minutes left on the clock, you do only have to get 1 meter, but now you have to rotate through the area where Joey is probably the most deadly.
Yeah, it's going to be a very difficult time here. They're going to have to really slow down, be very methodical about how they move through this map. A hit from the ball comp could happen at any moment. Wherever doorway they decide to walk through or walk out of could be a ball in your face with a Genji.
Yeah, as they do send Zevers to the card, I think. Asdo looking a little bit worse for wear. Does have this pulse bomb available. Fight hasn't broken out just yet. Ronan is still stuck in the Eternal Fury is still stuck in the low ground. Ronan does take a headshot from Cry there. Pulse bomb from Asdo does stick on the RMM, but RMM able to get the beat off before the explosive goes off. Shinji manages to find out Swifter's Cry. We'll trade it back though immediately onto Zevers, and now it's just Koi on the point trying to live against the world. Deadeye from Ronan. We'll find out the Wrecking Ball. Try onto the point, trying to at least Ronan with another one under Try. Asdo don't end the Cassie's reign. Swifters back onto the emergency Reaper. Try to touch Shinji with 2 on the point here, and now it's just Asdo alone against the world. And RMM will finally put them down with a quick sound wave.
Yeah, it's just a struggle there. Tried to go a little bit too fast into that room. I would have liked to see them maybe stall even longer, just wait until Eternal Fury decides to make the move to launch the hit. They go early and they end up losing the fight. Now they're swapping onto a Zarya comp looking to match. Keeping the Wu and Curie backlane though could be very instrumental here in getting a hold on third point.
Yeah, instead of noticing the swap goes over to the May to try to cut Koi off. Koi already lost all of his shields. Swifter's in with a quick teleport. Well, the Wraith is forced already. Grab out from Shinji. We'll check couple. The Tidal Blast does a good job of helping out Swifters, but only delays the inevitable. Shinji and RMM managed to find out 2. Grind on another one onto Koi. Ronan will find his counterpart in Asdo, and Zevers with the final icicle to the Dome of Try. And now Joey. They only have the Kitsune rush to their name. The only silver lining for them is Eternal Fury have nothing to answer that.
Yeah, it's going to be a really difficult walk up here for Joey Esports. Zarya coming through the closed door, see if they can find any space. Bubbles force both sides. Reaper looking to make some space to the TP, and the Kitsune rush will force Eternal Fury to back 1 minute on the clock here. Full disengage, but that May is caught out of block. Can they get the kill?
No, RMM manages to find Swifters. Try though, we'll trade it right back into RMM. That I forced here from Ronan, looking for a puzzle pick. Asdo barely avoids it with the roll. Try, the only source of healing is caught on the backside. Ronan will eventually end their life. The flashbang onto Cry. Shinji finds Koi, and now it's just Asdo and Swifters against the world. Their Blizzard will be popped, and Eternal Fury go up to match point with a statement against Joey saying, "You made it 3 on us last time, but we're 1 map away from claiming our destiny."
Wow, it's just when they need the clutches, Ronan is there, Zevras is there with the May play. I mean, the May play has been amazing from Zevras. Really makes this composition, the Zari composition from Eternal Fury work. They don't like the Reaper, they say we'll play the May instead.
Yeah, Joey, I don't think Joey now are completely on the back foot. But you've been in the scenario. But if you've ever been in one of these scenarios, one of the pro players always said you can't reverse sweep without losing 3 maps. Now I'm saying if this does go all the way to map 7, it would be ludicrous, and Eternal Fury I think would just be playing with their food at that point because they're in the driver's seat. They could just do a quick 4-0 and end it.
Yeah, they could do a 4-0, but it's also the ball is in Joey's court here, like you said. If they want to try and do something, they have to start with next map. They have options available in terms of what they can do. Obviously, we still have push and flashpoint available to pick, so there's maybe something to be made of that. But so far, I mean, it looks like Eternal Fury has the Zarya matchup on lock.
Yeah, now if you're Joey Esports, you have to choose between Flashpoint and Push. Nothing has worked out for you so far. You might have to go back to the drawing board, as I don't think that they're expecting these comps from Eternal Fury. This looks like Eternal Fury looks like a completely different beast. They have been denied in a couple of series beforehand, and like Ron said, this time everybody's playing for second, and right now it does look like everybody was playing for second from the get-go. I think Eternal Fury was just a kind of a monster in slumber, if you would, for the first couple of weeks.
Yeah, slow building, but they're building towards this grand finals domination so far. Really impressive play. I mean, it shows kind of why they had that confidence at the beginning. They believed in themselves to be able to kind of dominate this tier, and with that win last week, map 7, you said, I mean, that's kind of you show the character in that match, and then this match is just we're better than everyone else.
Yeah, and this is like when I asked like the message to the fans or opponent. Of course, Try was a little bit funny with his and Joey's, but Ronan was pretty much straight to the get-go. He told me this is their tournament, and he already said congrats to Joey getting second yesterday when I asked him these questions. So he was very confident going into this match that they were going to take the title home no matter what.
Yeah, and Joey Esports side, you know, you made a good season at the beginning of the season. I asked them, I said, kind of what are your goals for the season? They said, you know, a little bit jokingly said, yeah, champ bracket would be nice, but you know, we're gonna go for the whole thing. And they're in that moment. They need to show that they still want it. Don't be content with just making it here. Try and put a statement out. Say we're competitive, because right now, after that Shambali and then kind of the defense rounds here on Blizzard World, it doesn't look too hot for them.
Yeah, Joey, they're completely they're backs against the wall. Your map picks haven't worked out. Your compositions hasn't worked out. Mental may not really be there anymore. If you're but then again, knowing Koi, who was the coach of Science last season, I remember we were down 1-3 at one point, and then we came back to win that 4-3. So I don't think Joey are just out of it yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see if they can mount a comeback. I mean, what map are you going for here? Surely it's Flashpoint now, right?
I feel like Flashpoint's your best bet. Probably going to like Saravasa, maybe throw a curveball at them, go Atlas. I just think you should stay away from Push, because once you lose control of Push, unless it's Esperanza and the only maps that I think that are flippable are Runesop and Esperanza. I think in the Queens and Colosseum, once a team gets a lead, it's very hard to break it. Esperanza, of course, had the MI7 curse against Reminiscence back in the day. If you didn't know, MI7 would always get about 100+ meter lead, and then Reminiscence would just win like 6 fights in a row and take it back. I think the last time, against the Unction, they did, the Push map was their turning point, and they did win that map. I think it was Runesapi, if my memory is correct. And if you're Joey, I won't take them to Push. Push is usually decided by which team plays first versus which team gets bought early and stuff like that. It's really complex. Push is like a very complex mode. Flashpoint though, I think you have the best bet there because it's not lose 1 point and die. It's not like lose 1 point and you're done. You have a couple more chances. Albeit Flashpoint does tick faster, so it is a risk that if you don't get that momentum early, or if you're committing all just to take the point back like 4 or 5 at a time, it's really tough to actually come back in those scenarios.
Yeah, I think it's quite difficult. I mean, you find some value with the ball comp here on Blizzard World. Obviously, kind of the brawl Ramatra slash Zarya matchup doesn't go your way on Shambali. Do you want to stick to that towards that ball comp and see if you can try and force that to work, or are you say let's put full guns back onto Zarya comp? You know, say May Reaper, maybe even just full walk through the front line.
Yeah, and kind of we're just kind of waiting for the map pick to come. Like either Joey defers again or or they pick map here, but they've exhausted both attempts at this point to defer the pick. Didn't work. Pick map didn't work. You're kind of like up in the air of what do you want to do.
Yeah, I would like to see them try the Zarya matchup again, at least for the first part of whichever map it ends up being. Just see if you can make something happen, bring something different in the Zarya matchup. Obviously, Eternal Fury bringing kind of this Cassidy slash sometimes May and making it work is something different than what we've seen so far this series. Is we are going to end up taking a 2-minute break here. Some of the players have been on a bio, so we'll jump to a short break and we'll be back to you guys when both teams are ready to get their map picks and bans rolling.
Welcome back to the grand finals of this SPCS Intermediate Division, the final game of SPCS Series 3, and currently right now, Eternal Fury firmly comfortably in the driver's seat up on match point against Joy Esports. Joy Esports struggling to find a grip against this kind of revitalized Eternal Fury squad versus from week 1 to now. They look completely different.
Yeah, and it's been, maybe it's a little bit underselling Joey Esports' attempts here to say it's completely comfortable, but it hasn't felt in doubt in most of these maps that Eternal Fury was going to end up on top. There's moments where Joey Esports is playing quite well and they're making things happen, but they're just not consistently in the clutch there to make plays, and Eternal Fury has been.
Yeah, I know, Joey, it's your map pick again. Potentially your final map of this series. You may go home 4-0, and this is probably not what Joey wants. They probably know that that they can actually take maps in the series. That they should be able to take at least 1 or 2 maps on in this series, but right now their attempts of mirroring their own style, the wrecking ball, it's just not working out for them. I always thought, and Fury, in my opinion, looking like the more flexible team, which is really not something I thought I'd be saying about that team.
Yeah, the May play I felt like has been a revelation in this series, just being able to control the push versus the Zarya comp versus the Ramatra, just isolating the tank has been really, really essential for the play. And also the Cassie just being robust, consistent damage into backline targets, having that stun, that flash grenade for any potential divers, for a Genji, for a ball. Like, composition that they've been playing has been quite robust for Eternal Fury, and I'm not completely surprised that Joey Esports hasn't found an answer yet, just because of how stable this composition looks.
Yeah, and Fury, they're doing a really good job of like knowing against against the ball comp they were never rotated through open space. They always rotated in closed spaces where the ball would never go. That's usually something you don't really see that often, in my opinion, because a lot of teams just decide, we're going to rotate to the high ground through the default choke of Blizzard World. Against ball, that's a death sentence. So instead they tried to rotate through the enclosed lane. Really good from them, recognizing they want to hit us in the open. We're not going to give them the chance to hit us in the open.
Yeah, and when you're playing into the ball comp, that you have to make that decision to say, we want to make this fight happen where it's best for us, and we have to deny their ability to make an early fight happen in a place that's bad for us. And if you need to walk halfway around the map to make that happen, you just have to be content to do that. Yeah, you're taking a minute off your time bank, but you're setting yourself up for a better fight in the next 45-50 seconds if you can live that rotation.
Yeah, and right now, still waiting for the map pick to come through from either side of the team. If Joy defers or Joy picks, the only thing I can picture in my head is, just like that gif of like the Pepe's like discussing like this table. That's the only thing I can picture right now for like how long this map pick is taking.
Yeah, I mean, when you're in this position, you have to try and really rack your brain for what is your best shot. Yeah, okay, first map, second map, third map, you can get away with kind of just vibing a little bit, but you're down 3-0, you need to be certain that the next decision you make is the best possible decision. But I'm not surprised they're taking all this time.
Yeah, because this is potentially your final map of this series, and you'd hate for the second grand final this week to be a 4-0, another grand final this week to be a 4-0. As the map pick is in, New Junk City has been selected, and this is do or die for Joey. This is it. This is go big or go home. And a very good pick from Joey, as they are 5-0 on the map. Eternal Fury 1-2.
Yes, 5-0. Surely we get the map win here, right? I mean, there's no other
Eternal
way
Fury
to
selected this map. Joey deferred the map pick again.
Why would they? You know what? I'm not gonna question. Eternal Fury, they're sitting high right now. They're probably content with either of the options, and you get Flashpoint out of the way now. You're your potential fifth map, right, is push. And
Zarya.
as
Zarya ban.
we as we said at the top of the before the break, we felt push's maybe better look for Eternal Fury. So banning I think they might have fell into the play a little bit. I think maybe they should expect that going to Flashpoint would draw out this ban, and you kind of let them do that.
Yeah, the only issue I see here is Null is probably going to try to play the Junker Queen, and you know what hero that Shinji's really good at and shuts down the Junker Queen? Orisa.
Yeah,
So
I
now
mean,
Eternal Fury, the ball's in your court. You can ban a DPS, you can ban a support. This is like this is the map that decides like whether the series keeps going, or Joey, their season's over.
I don't. If you're Eternal Fury, I think you should be thinking about a Genji ban here. I mean, we saw how confident Swifters was on the Genji. We've seen throughout the series kind of how, maybe it's a bit harsh, but how lacking they've been on other characters. I think Genji could be a really good ban if you're Eternal Fury. If you find that ban, I think it might be a winning combination. But for Joe Esports, you have to gamble. As the Tracer is the ban here. Interesting.
Okay, so this is a little bit odd because Zev loves to play Tracer, so this signals to me Venture or May.
I mean, maybe they felt that Asdo on Tracer was more of a threat. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and this is so. We'll see what happens going to this map. I expect more like a JQ style from the side of Joey, and then with Zar being gone, I feel like you will probably see Eternal Fury go back to that Orisa.
Yeah, I mean, the Orisa was really strong for them on that Shambali as well. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the start out pick. I think the Orisa can be really strong. There's a lot of tanks that they have like a really strong sustain, similar level of sustain utility that the Zarya has, but they just lack the damage output that Zarya has, so they haven't really been being played. But now that there's some nerfs to other characters on the table, some buffs to other characters on the table, we're seeing that some of these other tanks really do have a place here, kind of in this kind of slow metagame that's been developing for the past few months.
Yeah, and going back to some of the questions I asked both teams, like one of the questions that Ronan answered was that at the start they really did not have the concept of peeling and push and pull down early. Now what they pretty much do, because you see like somebody gets in trouble, Shinji's there with the bubble, Grind's there with the Suzu, RMM sometimes with the immortality field if he's on the map. Like they've got the, oh crap, this guy's in trouble, we need to help him, or oh crap, our tank's in trouble, we need to help him. Like it, and they're really, and also the other thing he said that they're gotten really good at over the course of the series is controlling tempo, and that showed throughout all three map wins that they are really good at, like, they seem have a pretty good understanding of, okay, it's our turn versus it's their turn.
Yeah, I mean, when you have that sort of understanding of kind of the macro tempo kind of flip-flop of whose turn it is, who's got the advantage, that is like the biggest possible advantage you could hope to have over another team, more than mechanical skill, more than managing ult economy. Like that, just having that really big picture idea of the advantages of your composition and what your team is good at, what the enemy team is good at, when you have to sit back, when you can have the space to push forward. That is like the biggest thing possible.
Yeah, we're just waiting to go into map here. I'm not sure if all the players have returned yet, but map pick has been selected and map bans and pure bans are in. So I don't know. Maybe RMM just went to the bathroom again. I don't know. As it's been a really weird like back and forth. As Eternal Fury has won all three maps, but they picked two of them because Joey has just deferred on a couple. They defer again to try to ban out a problem hero potentially, and being the Zarya, which Tri did tell me they really favor that Zarya Reaper, so throwing that to the curb, saying, "Oh, they're just beating us in the mirror. We need to do something to change this," and we'll see what gets changed around here as Joey. This is it. This is it. Either win this map, continue in the series, or
Ooh,
Fury takes the crown.
it's
I
interesting.
okay. Again,
I
ignore
wouldn't
Swifters.
hate it. I'm telling you, I wouldn't hate it at this point in the series. If you got a mean junk, can control angles really well with that spam, I wouldn't hate it. Big burst damage in the front line if you opt to that kind of route. It's something that's completely unfounded, that Junkrat. We'll see Eternal Fury back on this May Cassidy with the Orisa. The comp that opened up that Shambali with them, granted there was an Ashe in play as well. We'll see which team is going to kind of take it out. Will it be Joey Esports looking to claw their way back into this series, or will it be Eternal Fury confirming what was said at the top of the season, a 4-0 victory in Grand Finals?
Yeah, you saw there's nice Spear to Cry nearly took her out of the engagement really early, slow out from Koi already, and both teams kind of all over the place. Nobody has fallen yet. Point is unlocked, and Swifters currently is just capping it up as Eternal Fury not really interested in K the point. Koi gets walled up, will fall to the point, and now Try, looking a little worse for wear, goes down to really low HP. Swifters, though, up out of nowhere. Joey is in control of the point, though, as the pause comes in from the side of Joey.
Tech pause, tech pause. I will say both teams doing a really good job at just playing opposition, rotating to the other sides, looking to kind of just stay away, hold the tension a bit, look to see if your DPS can try and make a play somewhere else, as we saw kind of Swifters probing on that Genji, looking for an opening. But I mean, if both teams manage it well, there is going to be no openings. So at some point, you just have to make the full send move.
The full send move, as you saw that, like Swifters just swept the point for free, and I think that's like the area where Eternal Fury is like, okay, now's the time. They don't have any. They don't have one of their players in the fight, so they're taking the concept of win the fight, then worry about the objective. That doesn't always work 100% of the time. It usually is like more used on Flashpoint and control maps, because you can't afford to give that little bit of percentage. It might come. Sometimes it can work on push. It can work on all the map types, but like there's like certain ones that it works on better than not, and it's usually the more objective focused map types.
Yeah, and playing that Ramatra, I think you have the opportunity to maybe with that shield kind of right out the bat. Obviously, the Orisa can get the shield with some perks. But having that shield early, you can look to kind of bunker down some of these pokes on the points. So maybe that helps you kind of capture objectives early, even before just leaving your Genji on there. You can just park up with the Ramatra, try and force a fight with the objective pressure. But it's very curious. I don't know who has the upper hand here based on these compositions. I think it's quite neutrally favored.
Quite neutrally favored, and it is, but I think, in terms of poke advantage, it definitely seems like the side of Joey has like a little bit of a poke advantage with the Wu Yang over the Lucio, which means of course Eternal Fury, they have more of the pushed tempo advantage with the Lucio speed. It's something that Joey wasn't really utilizing in their Shambali map, was the fact that they had a Lucio versus the fact that Armin was on BAP. They had no speed. But then again, up against the Orisa, I get it. Orisa is a brick wall of just metal and other pieces that if he probably put in that horse thing that is unkillable. But if you're playing Orisa correctly, in my opinion, you are the brick wall. You are the bouncer that says you have to get past me to get in. And a lot of times Shinji is like being that brick wall that they're always running into, being unable to get past it. Because a lot of teams are like, a lot of people are like, oh, just ignore the Orisa. You can't really ignore an Orisa that's blocking a doorway.
Yeah, it can be quite difficult, and maybe you can argue some of the points on New Junk City a bit more open, a bit more able to kind of walk around. But I think in my opinion, the Lucio, like, when you're in that matchup, you have to try and find value somewhere else from your speed. And if that's supporting one of your DPS just hard flanking in the 3-2 split, like then that's just what it has to be. You can't just sit there as a 5-stack in front of this Orisa as they slow walk you like we saw in Shambali. But here I think it opting to not play the Lucio with the Ramattra here definitely shows that they understand that intent, and they're saying we're just going to forget the Lucio and play kind of the more poke, the more angle centric backline, we and Kyrian, see if we can get the value that way, which so far, I mean, they had enough pressure to let the Genji just cap point for free.
I don't think that was really pressure. I think that was just Fury saying, we don't care about the point. There's 4 people up here. There's 1 down there. 5 equals 5v4. Let's just run somebody down. Especially since Joey don't have any speed to actually kite it out. The wall was really good from Zeb, but he left just a little bit of a gap where Null could squeeze his Omnic butt down to the low ground. Which I think Null did DC on map 1 because there's that one fight where like he was just standing still. So that could have been him. I'm not sure. The technical pause did come in from the side of Joey, as LCS is the coach for Joey. Either it could be a tech pause or it could be a, okay, get your heads on straight pause, like a pep talk pause, which you do have 2 of those available.
I can confirm Try's internet is dead. Is the reason.
No.
So
no Joey's.
So
there's no ETA, I'm guessing, for how long that will be out. Try. Yikes. Joey don't have any more players on the bench either.
Yeah, if this becomes an extended issue, can they find a ringer and get a ringer approved?
I think so.
The last map.
I think so, because I think Eternal Fury. I don't think Eternal Fury are the type of people that they would take the victory in a forfeit map, because in my eyes, if you do that, then you didn't win grand finals. You won 3 maps fair and square, but you took a fast one just because of unfortunate circumstances. So I think Fury would have the sportsmanship to allow a ringer to come in and play out the potentially final map.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that this has to be the case, or
I think you and I are just cursed.
Yeah, we're cursed with tech pauses. It is what it is.
Although the tech last time wasn't any players, it was our producer's internet that went bye-bye last week. Last week when Joey played Milkman. Albeit though, it was a long pause, but I was talking to both sides because I was talking to Mariposa from Milkman and Koi from Joey, and they're both like, "Yeah, we're just chilling."
Yeah,
we don't care. So,
I think
this might be a little bit of a blessing in disguise. Like, yeah, Try's not there, so we can't hear anything that's going on. But I think this is like a little bit of a, okay, let's get our heads straight. Let's get our ducks in a row. What the heck is happening? What do we need to fix? What comp are they on? What are their weaknesses? Like discussing stuff. Well, like, I mean, you and I kind of like try to teach that. Would try always tell the nemesis, what is a comp's exploitable weakness? And when you see it, as yep, this is if for you, those of you joining us, this is the reason we are currently in a tech pause. Try's internet has gone bye-bye, as I think Mora has done a little bit of experimentation with the wires.
Yeah, there's one thing I will say, for those of you who've been tuning in for a lot of streams here at SPCS and also are tuned to the notifications, if you have producer experience, observer experience, casting experience,
or willing to learn
to do it, have no experience, we are very willing and looking for people to fill out and make sure that we have the ability to stream every single game that is scheduled to be broadcast. It was a problem more in rookie tier than it was in any other tier this season, I think. But if you do have any... Yeah, if you have any experience with producing, especially, but also observing, commentating, everything else, reach out to some of the moderators in the server. Reach out to Sarif and Layla, and they'll get you sorted. As we do have some confirmation that we are getting back soon. TM.
Try has taken the Moira and thrown her out the window, and is getting his internet sorted back. But
Yeah.
yeah, if you ever want to get into casting, producing, observing, there is a form, I believe, in important info tab for the server itself, and there is a link that if you go to that link, it will take you to a form. You can fill out if you want to be a caster, observer, producer. If you have never done any casting before, it's just kind of like what Vox and I are doing. One person does all like the in-game stuff of the plays and kills and stuff, and one person does all like the analyst stuff. Observers, producers, we have some great observers and producers that would be always willing to always help somebody who's first time observing, first time producing. I know Layla in person would probably wouldn't mind helping somebody who would be a first time producer. And we have a lot of observers that have done this for quite a while through like big BPL Kitsune League, a former tournament that for some reason that people like to censor Tranquility. So all these people done it for a long time. We are getting back into the action here. Of course, Try unfortunately DC'd, so he's not here in the fight. But Eternal Fury kind of being a little bit of a good sport and not immediately going for the point, cleaning up the kills and not going for the point.
Yeah, 40% earned though for Jury Esports off of that free cap. First fight win. Zever is close to that May ultimate as ever. Extremely fast build rate on those blizzards. Grind also with Kitsune Rush advantage over Cry. It could be a strong ultimate kind of snowball here for this first point.
Yeah, of course, Try has ultimate everything reset, unfortunately. So Engage is going to look like it's going to be having Koi is kind of the main choke. Try though comes back with a vengeance and finds Grind up very early. Kitsune Rush off the table, and now Shinji going to the backline, trying to look for a trade. The slow does slow them down as Swifters manages to find Ronin on the sideline, and Koi in that Nemesis form unable to be taken out. Swifters with another Swifters. Actually, that's what they already have. Try finds out Shinji as the puts the rail through Armin's torso. Cry will find Zever as the final pick as Zever's committed Blizzard to that fight. I didn't even notice.
Yeah, look to kind of solo Blizzard that Ramattra and get a trade onto the tank. It's a decent idea. I think if you get to pick onto the tank, you can definitely turn that fight, but there wasn't enough focus from the rest of the members of Eternal Fury to make that play happen, as we see Zever swapping on to that venture. Look to put a little bit more of a thorn to the side, a little bit more disruption into how Joe Esports looking to play here.
Yeah, Zerus already finds out Swifters on the side with the drill dash. Swifters again, dead first. What a surprise. As now Koi goes into the underground. We'll find out Ronin with the Annihilation. Azzo finds Zeverus in the meantime, putting the railgun through his head. And now the Kitsune Rush out from Grind on the point. Eternal Fury did flip the point in the chaos. And now it might go back into their control, into Joy's control just as fast. A nice spear from Shinji will a little bit of pressure to Azzo. Both DPS ults coming in from the side of Joey. Swifters finds a nice blade kill onto Grind, finds another one on RM. Koi won't manage to fell the Orisa on the point, but Joey committed, let's see, 4 ultimates.
Yeah, you have to commit 4 ultimates to that fight. You didn't have access to that Weing ultimate. WC Swifters on that Genji. Strong play on the Genji so far. Struggled a little bit on some other heroes, but Genji's always good for it. So Ronin, Cassidy ultimate, only one available right now. Try will get that Wu Yang bubble this fight. We'll see if they can make an aggro play with that. As Try
just finds out Zever with his pants down. He thought he was in a 1v1 scenario against the Genji, but Try just sends an orb from downtown saying, "I'll show you the power of water." And now Eternal Fury on the back foot. They have to back off as Zeverus has decided to say, "F this, I'm going legs." Shinji though, we'll find out Swifters on the sideline now. Engage comes in. Armin finds out Cry, and now Shinji is on the point. A very angry horse staring down Null, who's just desperately trying to block out any damage, but will be taken down by Zeverus. As Eternal Fury, though they lost out Zev early, they managed to actually find the trade picks and put the point back. And now this is a very interesting composition from Eternal Fury, as Zev has decided to say F everything. I'm playing Soldier 76.
I don't hate the Soldier 76 and Denji. You do know this, and you know why. Some people, they just know how to make that soldier work. Enough consistent pressure, have the ability to run through these flanks. As you see here, impossible to track that. As there's some ultimates available here. Try has a bubble, Grind has a Kitsune Rush to see if they can use that to kind of mount some pressure on the point here. 50% and counting already for Eternal Fury.
Yeah, Tidal Blast, here comes Tidal Blast out onto Swifters, looking for Ronin. The explosion damage will take out the Cassidy. Here comes the rush from Grind as retaliation, and Shinji will pin Null to the middle pillar of the point, like a nice Christmas decoration. Actually, that probably won't look that nice. Zerus manages to find Try. Cry will find Zev out in the end, but this is final fight territory for Eternal Fury on this point, trying to tie us up. Terra Surge out from the side of Shinji. Will get Suzu out fighting Cry, but she will fall extremely fast. Armin finds Swifters, and that'll be the point. This point going over to Eternal Fury.
Yeah, I think Eternal Fury is always going to be much better in the long run with that soldier just permanently existing in the back line. Pressure is always in and out with that soldier. You get forced out very easily, but you're very mobile. It's hard to track down. So Eternal Fury, they will pick up that point with the help of that soldier, with the help of that Orisa big spear spin, big javelin throws, as has been the whole series. Joe Esports have an opportunity here with the Kitsune Rush and a Blade to get a first cap if they can find the right timing through all of these sustainabilities.
Yeah, it's gonna be an ultimate fight here on the board for Joey, having 4 ultimates to their name, but all the health bars are lacking right now. Suzu forced out from Cry here. Swifter is looking for a way in. Kitsune Rush committed from Cry. Here comes the Annihilation from Koi. Again, the first one. Will manage to take down Ronin. Tidal Blast committed by Armin onto the Orisa, and Azdo just caught looking the wrong direction. Will be get taken down. Attack Visor out from Zerus will manage to find Azdo at the back end. Koi will manage to finally kill this Orisa off, but Grind with a couple of kunai to the dome will take out Swifters, but Joey still have control of the point here. Koi finds another one at RMM. Wave will push back Grind in the meantime, and now Grind and Co will have to back off for the time being and wait for reinforcements to arrive.
The Try is doing a really good job putting early pressure with this wing. As you see, another early pick onto Zerus. I think Zerus is just a bit lost on how
He's
they
lost
should be
in the sauce.
playing. Soldier has a vision, but you know you have to live for that vision to be realized.
Yeah, now the points coming upwards of 50% here, and now Zerus has foregone the soldier, playing mystery heroes at this point, over to the Genji, Demir, Swifters. But Joey Esports still have 3 ultimates to their name. They have that Tidal Blade available. Here comes the Deadeye out from the side of Ronin. We'll do a bunch of damage to Koi. Tidal Blast from Swifters. Here comes the Blade. We'll find 2 with 1 slice onto Grind and Ronin. Koi will eventually just punch the horse to death on point. And this should be another point going over to Joey. And Joey know that they're going to try to get the next point early. This 2-1 on Flashpoint, I'm on match point at this point. Zerus again playing Mystery Heroes over to the Reaper.
I think the Reaper might be a little bit better. Stop Null from just walking with that Ramattra past Orisa. We talked a bit of how it can be difficult to get past this Orisa, but for most of these points, there are just more pathways to walk where you can just walk around. You see Azdo on this flank here. Reaper TP will force that out. Ultimates for both sides here, but it looks like it's going to be Eternal Fury with the advantage.
Yeah, RMM manages to find Swifters out here early. Overclock still a possibility from Azdo on the sideline. No, just being a kind of a blockade on the front line with the block. Eventually Shinji will push him out of the way with a quick spear, send him to the low ground. Overclock does come up from Azdo here, but now Null is in a little bit of world of hurt. Azdo barely gets to that nem form, but not able to get it off. He is up to the Annihilation as Eternal Fury will cap the point to start here.
Yeah, that Reaper just making it much easier for the Orisa to walk through as well. Lots of damage onto the tank. Limits the ability for the supports of Joey Esports to look at off angles and help their DPS find value there, because they have to look at their tank a bit more. There is a Kitsune Rush here for Joey Esports. They can use that to make their way towards the point or across this high ground. They opt to use it across the high ground.
Yeah, but Cry, after getting the rush, will be taken out by Grind. Running with the Swift headshot onto Swifters will take him down. Annihilation out from Koi, but it only is good for 1 pick on Swifters as Armin decides to turn and run for the hills. And now Koi is on the wrong side of the map from his team as he is trying to get back to the rest of his team, but Shinji sniffs him out. A quick spear will send him climbing into the wall, and Joey Esports, this fight has gone south and you don't have your tank anymore. You probably are looking at next point probably to be here to try to at least get a map in the series, try to at least keep your championship hopes alive here, but they're gonna have this all comes down to one final point. Will Joey continue in the series or will Fury 4-0?
flashpoint, match point, everything on the line. No more chances for Joey Esports. Lose this point and it is over. Dueling Wu Yang ultimates for both sides, but Eternal Fury building up to both their DPS ultimates. If this fight goes long here, or if it takes long to set up, Eternal Fury will have a big advantage.
Yeah, it's just nobody wanting to engage, but I think Joey have a little bit more of an advantage here as they are on the other side of the map. Here comes the Tidal Blast out onto Zephyrus, looking for a target. Does manage to find out Try did use a Tidal Blast. I think he actually got stunned out of it. I don't see any more health onto anybody. As Swifter is looking for a potential target here, does fall out the backline. Blade comes out. We'll find out. Grind immediately, looking for the second onto RMM. Unable to find that kill, but Cry manages to find Grind out in the meantime. As then we'll find out RMM, and there you go. Even though Eternal Fury got the point to start early there, 50% is what they net here, but they are sitting on 3 ultimates.
Yeah, you're okay losing that fight if you're Eternal Fury with the ultimates you had, but I think they might have had an opportunity to take that fight if they decided to push the tempo with maybe a Sojourn ultimate or the Reaper ultimate that they did have. But obviously it does get kited well from Joey Esports with that push in the Wu Yang bubble. Now they have an opportunity to maybe play aggressive in the push, and Swifters gets a deflect kill onto Ronin. That's the start of it. Shinji will get a trade here. No, fighting for this front line. Kitsune Rush to turn the fight. 50% in counting for Joey Esports. The time is good for them right now. They kite out this Kitsune Rush well. The spacing wasn't quite good, and now it's a time for Koi to go through. But it's Shinji and Zephyrus with that ultimate from the Reaper will trade the fight if you're Joey Esports and you're trying to get to 99% if you can, but the members aren't alive to make that happen.
Yeah, now Joey does have quite a few ultimates coming in here is the only issue. We'll see how this engagement shakes out. Zephyrus did have to commit that blossom that fight, so not the worst case scenario for them. But the entirety of Joey making a quick regroup here.
I think you have to try and force a trade of Sojourn ultimates here, then try and see if you can win the fight off the back of the late Kitsune Rush. Maybe even if a fight goes longer, it's going to go the other way with RMM's Wu Yang bubble.
Rail doesn't find anything out from Asdale. Here comes the OC from Asdale. Kitsune Rush onto the high ground from Cry. The entirety of Eternal Fury just back all of it. Terra Surge pulls him off the high ground and doesn't find anything from Shinji. Both teams fighting tooth and nail for this point. Here comes the Annihilation from Koi. Tidal Blast out onto Zephyrus. Koi still with the Annihilation going. Try does manage to find Grind in the chaos. And now it's just RMM for the healing output for the side of Eternal Fury. Wave does hit quite a few people, but unfortunately Shinji cannot sustain on the point alone. He gets taken down by Swifters, and now Eternal Fury in a mad dash is trying to live, try to at least sustain here for somebody to touch. Ronin finds out Swifters while he was using the Dragon Blade, but Koi will manage to find him out. It's OT. Asdo finds Zephyrus. In the meantime, Tidal Blast out. Asdo with another one onto RMM. And Joey finally managed to find some footing in the series and take one map.
The big map win here from Joey Esports. They did what they needed to do. DC doesn't matter. They will win off the back of this for Mantra Comp. Wu Yang Kiri is the backline for the win.
As you see, Joey more astounded that they will not get 4-0'd at least. That seems to be the thing. As Swifter says, don't call it a comeback. Cam, of course, dropping nobody 4-0's Joey Esports, and Cry dropping we didn't get 4-0'd. But now you're kind of in the back foot of Joey. You have to win the next 3 maps in a row, which are most potentially your opponent's map picks.
Yeah, I mean, we saw how difficult it was to make the plays with the map picks and the bans for Joey Esports in that whole time where they had that advantage, and maybe it's Eternal Fury's turn to struggle a bit on that front. This is the reaction you wanted to see, kind of as we said a little bit earlier. All the other maps, it would be a little bit underselling to say that it wasn't close in those other maps, but you definitely felt going through that Eternal Fury was going to win that map. It's a different story on this New Junk City. You felt for most of that time that Joey Esports was going to take that map win.
Yeah, now Eternal Fury are the ones that we wanted to for the map pick and take first ban, or we want to pick a map and let them ban what they want. We'll see we'll see what happens here, as the only mode available to be picked by Eternal Fury is push, and then we reset.
Yes. And then we did say we both feel that push is maybe more advantage towards Eternal Fury. Which push map do you think is their best option?
I think it's probably Runa. I think if they want to continue, because all of them seem pretty fing from outside of Queen Street.
Mm.
But I think they're I think what the map that they did beat the auction, I think, was Runasapi. That's when they started actually regain momentum in that series. So I won't be surprised if they pick Runasapi, especially since Zarya is back on the table for them.
Mm.
It was Runasapi that they picked that actually
Yes.
started to get the momentum. So Zarya is back on the table for both teams. You had that one hit of. You had that one hit of Zarya's on the table. You don't have to worry about the mirror. Now it's back on the table. Now, if Joe Fairy picked the first ban, though, Joey get the ban out whatever they want.
Yeah, and I mean maybe the play is ban out that ban out the Sojourn. Maybe. I mean, I don't know what you ban. Do you just say we ban Lucio? Do we ban Kyria? We're at the point where there's not a ton of bans that are super amazing for Joey. So we banned May already. Like we banned Zarya. I mean, what else is there to ban? Eternal Fury hasn't been playing Reaper. Do you ban Cass?
I don't think the cast has been that big of an issue. Is the thing.
Yeah,
think.
I mean,
I think like maybe you. I think if you want to, you can ban out. The thing is like, you don't really want to ban the cast in my opinion because Genji beats Cass most of the time at least.
yeah.
Like the thing is, do you want to ban out the Lucio? Do you want to ban out the Curie? They remember in the last series what they played was Milk. The last series they played against Milkman, the first two bans that they fired off were Lucio Curie.
Mm.
Do you ban Curie? Do you? But then if you ban the Curie, then you may like force like more like a weird double flex backline, or like a Lucio with perhaps a map or honor or something like that. But Eternal Fury, I think, still in discussion. Do they want to pick the map or do they want to defer and take first ban?
If I'm Eternal Fury, in this position say, okay, we like push as a map type. I would be say we defer the map pick. I will give it to Joey Esports and we'll take the initiative on banning, because I think you might be able to tell a little bit what Joey Esports has in store
Queen
if they
Street.
do end up getting if they do end up deferring the map pick.
The map pick has been selected, and Fury did end up deferring. New Queen Street has been selected by Joey Esports, and Joey has not played New Queen Street once this series, but they're 0-1 on Coliseum Ish and 1-1 on Runasapi. So this map, this odd map pick selection, I'm not sure what Joey is going for here. If they're going like maybe towards the more the Wrecking Ball comp, but especially since this map doesn't have that many of those enclosed areas where that Blizzard World does.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down to maybe, if I'm Eternal Fury here, I mean, Ball is potentially a decent ban. You know, start out with that. Make sure you get your tanks online. Make sure they don't ban the Orisa if that's something you might want to swap to. So maybe look to make a play like that. Maybe you look to say, now this is the point where we ban the Genji. Maybe this is the point where we ban the Reaper. You know, there's options here for Eternal Fury in what they could opt to do.
Yeah, now Eternal Fury are usually pretty. There's usually a meaning behind their ban pick. Joey's ban picks haven't always had like we're targeting this person. Fury's usually always they're like, let's get rid of this person. The Tracer ban's like the only outlier in my opinion that kind of was odd. Yep, as you called it, Eternal Fury getting rid of that Genji off the table as Swift was a problem for them to deal with New York City.
Yeah, and I think that's quite a practical, quite a prudent pick to ban out that Genji. Very kind of down to earth to say, okay, we had trouble with this in the map. We just lost. Let's just get rid of it. Try and take the momentum away. And the response is, I like this. I think okay, you showed in that last map we kind of had the better of the Wu and Curie in that map, and you try and put your trust in that again for the next map. You got to build up your confidence in everything. Got to build towards this desire to push it all the way to a map 7 and win the whole thing.
If this goes to a map 7, that I don't think I've ever seen a reverse sweep happen in a actually, no, I have seen a reverse sweep happen in a grand finals in Series 1. Except Null was on the receiving end of that one.
Maybe it's time to put the shoe on the other
Null
foot.
and Cry were on the receiving end of that one.
It's time to put the shoe on the other foot, guys. It's time for Joey Esports, for Null and Cry to win that map 7.
They're always, Cry did jokingly say, Cry and Null are cursed in map 7. Can we get a 3-peat? Question mark.
I mean, there's only one way to make any of these potentialities happen, and that's to get there, which means they do have to actually win this map. This map 5, still potentially 2 other maps to go, as New Queen Street
buckle
will
up,
be
ladies
played.
and gentlemen. We might be here for the next hour.
We'll see if the ball comp comes to fruition here. We talked a little bit how ball might be the play, as both
Cam
of these comps
is
have to
being Cam is being a creep right now. I don't know if you saw that in chat, but Cam said he was looking in RMM's window.
Both these comps are bait, right? Surely.
Surely, unless both teams have decided. Okay, yep, there we go.
Yeah.
Eternal Fairy. I mean, running. Both teams running Soldier 76. I don't think I would have thought I would ever see this. As the last time I saw Soldier 76, it was when Crazy Raccoon lost on this map.
No, I'm pretty sure you've seen it before then. I'm pretty sure my player has played Soldier before then. There we are. Soldier Tracer in map 5 grand finals. New Queen Street. Joey Esports bought themselves another opportunity to try and push this series even further. We'll see if they can keep it going there.
Yeah, the spear out from Shinji early here does knock Koi onto the low ground. Looking at both teams prodding and poking, looking for a maybe entry route. Swifters though gets taken out. Swifters will take out Ronin, but then Zevers will immediately take out Swifters. Both soldiers traded, try falling dangerously low, will get healed up by Cry, but RMM on the side manages to find out Asdo as Koi unable to walk forward into the core of Eternal Fury as Shinji is playing bodyguard. Shinji will punch Cry in the face and send her back to the spa room, and now RMM manages to find out Koi, and that will be the bot control taken early here by Eternal Fury as Koi is not to put it lightly, Ramatra isn't the best pick against Arissa.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can make it work, but you have to be a little bit faster with how you're developing your angles and making sure you're taking the angles in time to have your Ramatra to have the ability to just walk forward with Nemesis form. If Ramatra never gets the ability to walk forward with Nemesis form, you're always losing the poke battle to the Arissa.
Yeah, Asdo and Severus in the side lane in that mega room having a little 1v1. Shinji will be forced back. Doesn't have the fortify, and there we go. Koi will manage to find out Shinji and get the bot back in control of Joy for the time being, as the Eternal Fury with no tank. They have to turn tail and run to get out of there. RMM on the high ground doing a little bit of poke. The slow thrown in the direction. The Ronin barely escapes, but Asdo on the sideline looking to maybe catch somebody, but unfortunately from RMM is a little too fast with the surfing, and now we're having a soldier 1v1 on the side lane. Zeverus and Ronin both, not Zeverus, Ronin and Swifters both, oh no, Swifters doing the good old classic, running a circle of my head looking down, he can't hit me. And Asdo does get hit by a bunch of orbs from RMM really early here. Now Ronin eventually will win the soldier 1v1 on the side. Characters out from Shinji, falls on thrown onto the Arissa, doesn't do that much damage to it at all. Koi will get speared into the wall. Zeverus finds a couple more picks, and that will be the bot going back into control of Eternal Fury.
Yeah, after all that DPS duel in the back line, ultimately it is that early Kitsune rush from Grind that opens the fight for Eternal Fury just in time before Joey Esports threatened to take the lead. They will have an opportunity with that Wu Yang bubble outpacing and that Soldier Ultimate outpacing to try and push this point to the first spawn checkpoint.
Yeah, Shinji looking worse for wear already though. But here comes the title blast out onto Zevras. Try gets stunned out, and Ronin will be there for the finisher. Shinji spears Null into the wall again. Zevras manages to find another one onto Azo. Ronin will find their opposite number in Swifters. Cry will find the Kiri diff onto Grind, but Ronin finds that final pick, and now we have Butt Scratch activated and forward spawns activated for Eternal Fury.
Yeah, it seems like Eternal Fury is just having the better of playing these off angles together, peeling for these off angles together. Joe Esports just a little bit disjointed in how they're contesting them, constantly losing 2v1s, 1v1s just because of the timing that they're going at.
Yeah, Corey, under the low ground, here comes the continuing rush out from Cry, but Eternal Fury doing a pretty good job of cutting it out. At first, but Ronin caught off on the sideline by Swifters. Zevras is alienating on the high ground, really isn't a part of that fight at all. And now Azo runs into the room, does manage to find ground out. Swifters may have gone a little too far, but Koi is there saying, "Leave my soldier alone." Synergy will eventually fall, and now will be the forward response deactivated and brought back in control for Joey.
Yeah, they have a small ultimate advantage here, 4 ults to 3, almost 3 for Eternal Fury. Point? Can we tap
guys,
can
we? Okay.
There we go. We get the bot continuing to roll here. Tracer going into contested backline with the pulse. It does go wide. The ultimate from try and turn it, and they will pick the opposing backline member. Advantage to Joey Esports here. We'll see if they can continue to roll it here. They still have that tactical visor online.
Yeah, Try though finds another one of one in that title blast was to himself, but he just took down Grind on the side. Azo finds Shinji, and now forward spawns up and running for the side of Joey Esports here. As you can see how close they are to taking that lead from Eternal Fury. Eternal Fury on the back foot right now. Zevras way too far away from the bot to actually try to contest it. Shinji doing his best right now to try to get towards that bot, but has no spear spin. Somebody is contesting the bot right now. Here comes the Kitsune Rush out from Grind. Tech Visor from Ronin on the sideline. Cry won't find out Zevras. But in the meantime, Shinji and Ronin managed to find a couple more picks. Ronin another one onto Azo. Sutra did invest his Tech Visor and didn't find anything. Annihilation invested from Koi, but he's lost all of his team members. Shinji and Ronin will pick out the last 2, and that might come back to bite Joey, as that was everything that you had left.
Yeah, and now you're in a really disadvantaged scenario. You're fighting into a Yang bubble
Koi
and
over
an
to the
Arista
ball.
ult. Yeah, maybe that's the play. I mean, you had success in that last fight with the kind of duels on the off angle. Maybe you can kind of with this ball help get those even faster and turn those into fight wins. But it looks like Null's gonna have a very difficult time dealing with that Tracer.
Yeah, they managed to find out Ronin, but here's a Terror Surge from Shinji. Doesn't find anybody, but Zevras will manage to find Swifter is looking worse for her on the backside. Zevras another one onto Cry. Ronin will find his opposite number again in the soldier duel, and now it's just as though trying to stall out. Grind won't find him out, and Koi has to turn tail and get back to spawn.
Yeah, as we see RMM having that Wu Yang bubble still intact here, only needed the Orisa ultimate to win that fight. It's a big opportunity to have that. You can put it on the Tracers. We see the go button is pressed. Will they get the pick onto Try it? Suzu will allow them to dodge that burst. Zevras with the pulse bomb doesn't need it. Will find the pick onto Swifters. Pulse bomb thrown now. Will get the pick onto Try as well. The cart is free rolling here, going towards
Azo finds Grind.
Azo with trades will make this a little bit sticky here. We'll see if that remains to be the case, as the Rissa is just anchoring this cart down towards the cap.
Ronin finds Cry. Zevras finds Koi. Swifters on the emergency Sombra will pick off Shinji in the meantime. Try looking worse for it. Zevras will take him down. That was just a DPS line for the side of Joey, trying to keep this point alive. Translocator out front Swifters. He will manage to dodge out Ronin for the time being. Asda with a quick swift smack to the face will take down Ronin, and reinforcements have arrived. Joey Esports are able to thwart the full cap, but just barely.
Yeah, you end up on the Sombra here for this contest. I think it's a little bit better with this comp than the Soldier anyway. So I feel you're not too mad about having to make that swap for the contest. Because now you have double support ultimates. You need to try and win this fight with only one of them. See if you can save that ultimate advantage for the next fight as well. See an early hit here from the ball, forcing Suzu out.
Yeah, hat comes out onto Shinji. Fortify Force Swifters has to turn tail and get the heck out of towards the meta pack. Suzu forced from Cry just to keep the summer in the fight. No ultimates being exchanged yet. Ronin will be attack by the come up, but Ronin just knocked him into the air and immediately taken down before he can even get a single shot off. Bot's still going towards Joey's barricade, but somebody is contesting it. It is Shinji being a little bit of a nuisance on the point. 4-5 forced out from the Orisa. And now Azo just trying to poke this Orisa down. The entirety of Joey trying to take down this Orisa eventually will after Cry commits the Kitsune rush to this fight, and Joey finally able to win this fight and get the barricade moving in the right direction.
Yeah, the tempo that they're playing at with this ball comp is really good. Just getting these stagger picks allowed them to push the cart all the way towards that checkpoint before they even won won the fight. The comeback is mounting here. The pressure's on for ultimates for Joey Esports. If they ration them correctly, they could make it all the way towards the checkpoint.
No, Koi gets stunned out and then pulled back in by the Terror Surge of Shinji. Asdo will trade out Zephyrus in the meantime, but running over to the Cassidy instead. EMP from the side of Swifters will catch 4! Swifters with the virus takes down both backlighters, and Shinji will be soon to follow as the lead from Eternal Fury have a mounted and is starting to crumble before their eyes.
When Joey Esports needed it most, Swifters locked in on a character not called Genji, and they did the work. They found the clutch play needed to win that fight. We'll see if they can make another clutch play here with the mines from that ball. They're dropped onto this objective.
Dropped on the objective. Ronin will be taken down by the minefield, right off to the side, super low. Koi will run through them like a bowling pin. Try will find his opposite number RMM. Kitsune rush out onto the point from Brian, but it's just Shinji on his lonesome, trying to find something, trying to look for anything. But he has no friends on the point. Will eventually succumb to Swifters, and Joey are so close to retaking his lead. It's just grinding on the sideline. Suzu Force throwing it back on the emergency summer himself. Lamp out from RMM. Initially to try Cry will find out grind. We are in overtime. Koi finds another one. RMM Asdo with a quick smack to the wrong space. Try with another one of Shinji Zephyrus. The emergency bastion won't do anything, and somehow Joey clawed their way back in, and we are going to a map 6.
Joey Esports, when they needed most, they have the clutch. In the beginning of the series, they didn't have it, but they found it here on map 6 and on map 5. Map 4 and 5. It's just a late day for me here, guys. We are going to go. Looks like they might be able to bring it all the way. One more map until that map 7. Man, it would be an impressive comeback here if they can make it.
This would be the most impressive comeback, but also the biggest choke from Eternal Fury. But Joey Esports, they're starting to get more momentum, and their ball is starting to come towards them. They're getting a little bit more momentum. Map pick again to Eternal Fury. Will they defer it again to Joey, or will they actually try to take a map pick? As we're getting to the point of the series where you've exhausted all of your good bands at this point.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Joey Esports, right? If Eternal Fury decides to pick a map, you still have ban Orisa. You can ban Orisa.
You still have ban Orisa too, and also now that push is out of the way, Eternal Fury can pick any map type available.
That is true. It's very true. It's a tricky scenario. I don't know if deferring the ban or taking the pick is the right play. I feel like right now you want to take the pick just to have your kind of opportunity to take any map type. You want to make sure that Joey Esports can't take you to a map type that maybe you're a bit disadvantaged on. But then again, you did win most of them up until now, so if you defer the ban, maybe you're okay. But then Joey Esports has the opportunity to go to Suravasa, which is maybe not your desired map pick.
I think if I'm in the series of Eternal Fury, I'm going back to Control. That's where you looked pretty strong against them. So why not throw it back to Control? Especially if Joey's banned with Orisa, you kind of like go towards back to that Zarya mirror that Joey looked a little shaky in.
Although I will say, if you opt to take the map pick to Control, right? What are your options? Your options are Oasis, your options are Ilios, and what is the other one? Let me check it real quick. Samoa. I feel like all of those would be decent for ball comp. I mean,
Samoa was the map that Eternal Fury did beat the Unction on to tie the series 3-3 last week.
I mean, look, if some out of if you're gonna go control, Samoa is the worst one for ball. I think that's probably pretty clear. But do you still want to invest a ball ban in that?
I think at this point in time, you're on match point. You're what Joey's knocking on the door. Potentially, you're getting the brooms out for the potentially getting the brooms out for the beep beep reverse sweep. But right now, Fairy gotta keep the head straight. You're still on match point. Joey, you won 2 maps back to back. You clawed your way from almost a 100-meter deficit. If I'm Joey, you're still in this. That flashpoint went your way. The push didn't go anywhere at the start, but you managed to claw your way back into it off of Swifters not being dead. And now you're 1 map away from tying the series.
Yeah, I mean, this is the scenario you played yourself into, and now you have to play yourself out of it here for Joey Esports, and they've been doing it so far. We'll see if they can keep it up. I think they definitely have the momentum now after that map. You know, just as Shambali was, let's say, a turning point in the momentum for Eternal Fury at the beginning of this series. I mean, losing that much of a lead is quite a shift in the other direction.
Yeah, you were close to full capping it, and then everything just started to go wrong, and fight after fight not going your way. We'll see what pick comes in here from either side. This is the one game where this is the most amount of deferrals I've seen in a game ever. As my camera decides to not unfocus itself.
I mean, the deferral can be pretty powerful. I didn't really like defer ban in rookie tier. I think you much rather play, like, just make sure you get on the maps that you've practiced, the maps that you're good on, the maps that you have solid kind of foundation. Here, I think it's not that bad of an idea. Everyone's kind of more or less on the same page with the macro ideas for the maps. So you have a bit more freedom to say, okay, we're okay with whatever map pick. We just want to make sure the compositions that are played are what we want it to be.
Yeah, it's also to the time of night where our live chat has evolved to our observers posting gifs about a pirate game.
Yes. Sea of Thieves, yes. I mean, if Joey Esports makes it all the way to map 7 and wins, it would be a absolute thievery.
If we go to map 7, I think Orange is gonna start rolling a D20 for whose POV it is. That being said, that's actually happened before, not in grand finals, but in admin pucks, because those go on until like midnight. So everybody just got bored and started rolling dice to see who.
Yeah, I think
be on.
So. The last matches that I've done in intermediate tier was that Milkman versus Concordia Crimson, right? That went map 7.
Yeah.
Then we did the Milkman versus Joey that went to map 6 with a bunch of tech pauses, and now we're here at map 6 in grand finals.
With some tech pauses.
Hopefully it gets resolved in a very satisfying manner in terms of how this series ends. I wouldn't want it to go out with a whimper. Hopefully it's a very close map, whether it's a map 6 or a map 7.
Yeah, and the entirety of intermediate chat and the entirety of the Discord server, the Eternal, still in good spirits off of the fact that the play of the game frame, or Ronin was killing everybody. The push bot for the side of Eternal Fury stopped at 6-7. So somebody screenshot that. The meterage and now intermediate chat's blowing up, and Doritos demanding that the screenshot be put in stardom or something.
This is how you know that it's 10:30 EST. People are.
We're in a soppy. Another push. This has to be Eternal Fury's pick.
This has to be Eternal Fury. They deferred the pick, the last push, and now they say, okay, forget it. We're gonna go to the push that we wanted.
Yeah,
we're gonna go to Bruna Sapi.
So this potentially, I've been saying ever since it's been 3-0, this is potentially the final map. That being said, I did say yesterday that I wanted 7 maps. I didn't think it would go this way, but we'll see if Joey Esports are able to force a map 7. But now Joey has the ability to ban first here, and it won't surprise me if they try to ban the Orisa or they ban the Kiri, or perhaps or perhaps they just like the Orisa. If the Orisa's still on the table, it didn't seem to be that much of a hindrance to know when he was on ball.
Yeah, I mean,
so. Yeah, you got a lot of different heroes that you could possibly ban out. If you want to continue playing the ball, you could ban Cassidy.
yeah, I mean, you could, yeah, ban Cassidy's not a bad look. I was thinking, you know, the ban like what, ban Tracer maybe even, but I mean, you want to play Tracer, ban Orisa. I mean, you have, I think you have the 2 routes, maybe. The ban Cass or ban Orisa. You try and, yeah, maybe you take a gamble, say ban Cass here, we want ban Orisa for the last map.
Yeah, Joey usually is pretty quick with the bans, but of course this is map 6. So yeah. Joey, in a little discussion right now of who they're possibly going to ban out here. As I mean, for Eternal Fury though, like if your Cass is gone, maybe that opens up the opportunity to ban the Wrecking Ball. So like, if you want to, if you just want to like get rid of the hindrance heroes that has been like a hindrance to you all night, but also protect your Wrecking Ball, you could ban the Orisa and just save the Cass maybe for map 7.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think you should very heavily consider banning a tank. Ban Orisa is the play. So they will take that Orisa off the table, protect banning that Wrecking Ball, making sure it's still able to play. I do like Wrecking Ball on Renasapi, but I think it can be a little bit difficult to play. There's not as much like kind of high ground staging points for your dive. You kind of just have to be going in with the grappling hook all the time. See, what do you think the response band for Eternal Fury is? Do you just
perhaps
knock the Kiriko off the table?
I don't think they're gonna knock the Kiriko off the table, because Grind has heavily favored that hero over pretty much everything else.
I mean, you can't ban Genji, you can't ban Tracer.
Perhaps a Sombra?
Perhaps Sombra. I mean, the Sombra did seem pretty decent into the Orisa. It could be a good play. I mean, you can't ban like the 2 big DPS. You can't ban the Wrecking Ball since the Orisa's ban. I feel like it has to be okay. Sombra is the ban. I feel like you're okay with that if you're Joey.
Yeah, because then you got
your first choice on.
You got Genji back, anyway. But yeah. I don't know how this is gonna go because now the Orisa's off the table for Joey. They're probably just gonna go back to the Zarya comp.
Yeah, the Zarya can be difficult for the ball if they get really high charge. Can just make that ball's life miserable trying to set up. So they have to do a really good job of forcing attention away.
This is a mirror of the other Eternal teams' grand finals. I just realized that. In terms of the score, in terms of how the maps went, Eternal Beach Drop went up 3-0 and then lost 2 maps in a row. Coincidence?
noticing a play. We'll not make allegations, but we'll say that maybe there is evidence to put forward that Eternal Beat Drop Bears lost 2 maps to make it interesting, and make sure certain people lost their Twitch points.
Did you lose your Twitch points?
I didn't lose my Twitch points, but certain other people lost their Twitch points.
I know Goop did.
I forgot to bet on the first map that they lost.
Guys, we're Shinji immediately saying that there's no horse, but here you can have this llama instead.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I wouldn't be.
How many llamas are on this map?
A lot.
Do they appear on low graphics?
Probably not.
That's probably why I don't know that.
I was gonna call out the Torb as a potential pick for Eternal Fury. But it looks like
Well,
Joey Esports is maybe
Joey,
playing
remember
the
remember what
core.
I said at the beginning? Aslo does have two maps
There's
we can
no
play right
way.
here. He
There's no
won.
way you decide to do that in map 6 of Grand Finals. There
I
we go.
mean, okay,
Toss
Aslo
tricks
over.
there.
Okay, so both teams out here. Joey riding that Wrecking Ball comp. Eternal Fury back over to the Zara comp, but Ronan decided to stand the soldier.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh-oh.
Soldier was interesting.
Koi is already in a world of hurt, manages to barely just escape with his life as I think he just thought Zeros was there and the whole entire squad pulled up. Both teams just poking and prodding right now, looking for an opening. Shinji has a little bit of charge, but will go in the direction of Eternal Fury until Swifters puts a railgun through RMM's head, and now that's their speed gone. Zephyrus manages to trade back onto Try, and a nice bubble from Shinji will save Ronan's life, who was down to 1 HP. Roll through comes in from Koi, unable to find anything, but RMM and Try are still coming back from spawn. The bot is in control of Joey for the time being, as though off of the sideline looking for something. Zephyrus into the backline onto Swifters. Swifters might in a little bit of a trouble here, but the Suzu TP from Cry with the save will force Zephyrus away with the recall. And now Zephyrus in a little bit of trouble, down to 1 HP again. Shinji manages to save him with the Zarya bubble. Power drive onto the point from Null. Will not find anything with that. With Shinji already looking a little bit worse from where no bubbles, manages to just get healed up by his supports. As though trying to distract Cry to the side, Shinji will manage to find Tryout in this fight. Bot still in control of Joey, but Shinji high charge on the point will manage to bring it back. No, that slam does not find RMM like he was intending, and now Joey has to back up a little bit.
Yeah, Joey Esports, they found their way into the backline really early. I don't think we caught it exactly on the observers, but I believe Try was all the way in the backline as if they had flipped the map.
Oh,
See all this early pressure onto Shinji forces the kill.
Shinji unable to grind is unable to sustain Shinji. I think Azo is distracting him. Azo will eventually find that pick. Koi looking a little bit worse for wear though, but the tank is gone from the side of Eternal Fury. Ronan will manage to pick off Swifters, but RMM down to 1 HP somewhere on the map. Koi will manage to get the revenge for his soldier onto Ronan, and the bot's still firmly in control of Joey right now. Asdo looking potentially for a little bit of a pulse bomb, or looking to try to find where Zephyrus is located. Ronan off the soldier over to the Cassidy.
Yeah, and Joey Esports doing a really good job of surrounding the Zarya, attacking from all angles and making it difficult for them to focus down one person. And that's what this ball comp really excels in, just making sure that the enemy team has enough chaos in their comps to get the pick and the mines come out.
OCL for Swifters.
See if they can continue to push this.
Swifters another headshot
pick
onto Zephyrus. Bot still firmly in control of Joey as Eternal Fury struggling to find any sort of stabilization semblance without that Orisa pick from Shinji, without like the stabilization of the Orisa. Eternal Fury looking a little bit worse for wear. Grind and RMM both down very low. Ronan onto the sideline looking for a potential pick here. Bubble forced out onto Grind as Asto was in the backline looking for a little bit of a pick off, looking for a little bit of one clip. Try looking a little bit worse for wear. As Swifter's in the doorway, will meet RMM, and Swifters says, "Hey, come back here," and manages to pick off RMM. Will be found out by Ronan in the meantime, but the Kitsune Rush was committed from Grind in the meantime to get Eternal Fury control of this bot. Koi, though, not wanting to let that go super easily. Here comes the Kitsune Rush committed from Try. Shinji, though, will manage to find Try in the meantime. Shinji, another one onto Koi. Cry will find one onto Zephyrus. Recall force from Asda. RMM will find him. And now it's just Cry on the point all over. Ronnie manages to finally kill off the Kiri. And the force spots deactivate for Joey. On a side tangent, why do you have to have your backline named Try and Cry? It's kind of like a tongue twister.
You've made it this far in the series. Shouldn't be a problem. You see RMM with that Lucio beat. Shinji with that grab is going to have a similar problem as they did earlier in the series. Who do you opt to Graviton Surge? And you do
that's the answer right there.
That ball. Invested the Wu-Yang bubble as well onto that ball, and the pick still comes through. It's a negative ultimate trade here for Joey Esports, but Swifters with a kill onto RMM will equalize a little bit here. It's going to be difficult for Eternal Fury to push the bot even further.
And RM dies with that sound barrier available. Here comes the Deadeye out from Ronin, trying to buy a little bit of space, trying to get this forward spawns up and running for the side of Eternal Fury. Deadeye will expire. Koi on the sideline does manage to, I think, just barely, doesn't manage to stop the butt scratch before it actually initiates. Zeverus with the pulse one pick onto Swifters, and no, kind of got stuck a little bit there. Ronin will manage to find out the Wrecking Ball, and now Eternal Fury are on the knocking on the door of the lead of that Joey have accumulated. Asdo doing a really good job though of starting the bot out until Ronin greets him with a swift headshot to the dome.
Yeah, Eternal Fury have tempo with their support ultimates here if they need to use it. But if you're doing esports, you're asking for some more heroics from Swifters here. You need to get some picks a little bit earlier before kind of this slow walk from the Lucio Kiri Zarya comes in.
Yeah, slam out from Koi. Zeverus will try. Shinji finds Azo. Azo commits pulse one on to find here. Here comes the minefield out from Koi. Zeverus another one pick onto Swifters, and now the bot is dangerously close to finding that lead. Koi doing his best to try to stall out, but RMM will find him in the end, and now the bot's back in control of Eternal Fury. Eternal Fury will take the lead. 4 minutes on the clock remaining. Azo switching over to the Cassidy off of that Tracer. Koi over to the Winston off of the Wrecking Ball.
And Winston might find a little bit more value into the Zarya than that ball. Lucio B here could be huge for Eternal Fury. They need the right timing of this. If they can fully counteract Swifter's ultimate with a full kite, or just that Lucio B, it could be big.
Dies. Swifters falls. Grind will find Koi. Ronin off to the side. I think does get hit by a Wayward Kunai, but will get healed up by his supports. And now Asdo looking a little worse for wear. Stun does find out Zeverus with the increased stun duration. He manages to find that pick. Roll force out from Asdo. Asdo will be taken over by Shinji. Here comes the sound barrier from the side from RMM. Grab goes completely wayward from Shinji. No, doing his best to try to stall out the bot. Title blast out from the side of Joey Esports to try to prolong this fight. No Nemesis form remaining, but try manages to find RMM. Swifters with the disruptor shot will find Shinji, and Eternal Fury are going to be forced to back off here. Asdo and Koi will find the last two, but now you have a pretty steep hill to climb, but this is very, very similar to the last map.
Yeah, as we see, Kitsune Rush Ultimate available for Joey Esports. Grind not quite at it yet. You have some tools here. Asdo with the high noon could give you some spacing as well to get this forward spawns deactivated. As you see Eternal Fury trying to prevent that from happening.
Yeah, Swifters has gone over to the Reaper as well here. Here comes the Kitsune Rush out from Cry really early. Swifters manages to catch Grind on the back foot of this fight. But so the rest of Eternal Fury decide to turn tail and get the heck out of there, not allowing any more picks to come through. Here comes the TP in from Swifters looking for a potential pick. Doesn't find anything but a face full of pulse pistols. Wraith Force out from Swifters. Pulse Bomb goes wide from Zeverus, doesn't find anything. Swifters still looking for a potential target. Sees the Cassidy down low. Ronin down to very low HP. Grind does have this Kitsune Rush available. Here comes the Kitsune Rush fired off from Grind. Swifters down very low. Asdo with the Deadeye, but he just gets melted by Shinji and that high-powered beam. The side of Joey trying to do their best to try to keep this fight going. But Ronin and Ko are not letting that happen. Cry does find RMM, but Ronin and Shinji will find Koi's and Swifters. Doing his best to try to stall the point out, but Ronin will find him. Cry does find Zeros, but then Grind immediately trades it back. 1 minute 30 on the clock. Joey, this is it.
Yeah, it's go time. No more mistakes possible. Minute 30, you need to get this lead back in your favor. Need to push it all the way towards that cap. You have 3 ultimates going to be coming up later in this fight, but Ronin has the ability to space you off this cart with the high noon. Could be really massive in drawing this fight towards the overtime. As we look to see the fight on the corner here, some bubbles forced from Shinji, but it's going to be a little bit of a mute point as Joey Esports need to push it back up this lane.
Yeah, but nobody giving an inch so far. Shinji off to the side, bubble forced out. Here comes a Deadeye from Ronin. A little bit sped forward by RMM. I don't know if Joey will be expecting this. Here comes Zeverus. Will find as in the meantime, but Tidal Blast plus the Death Blast on Swifters with a 3. Swifters looking for another one. Grind with a kunai headshot from downtown manages to find out the Reaper. Somebody is still stalling the point out. I believe it is Grind and Zeverus in the back line, and now Asdo going over to the Soldier, but Eternal Fury didn't use any ultimates in that fight. They still have a potential 4 coming here. Still going to Asdo. Zeverus finds Zeverus pick really early. 20 seconds remaining. for the side of Eternal Fury, so close to this win. The Eternal Fury, though, deciding to back off a little bit, waiting for their Tracer to come back into the fight. Bot is going in the direction of the Eternal Fury right now, as nobody is doing anything right now. Grab's still available from Shinji. This will be an overtime push if Joey can manage to take this to a map 7. The time is now. But
yeah, Joey
Esports just about to tick into overtime. Here comes the grab from Shinji. We'll find Swifters. Swifters doesn't have that Wraith for available, but the picks don't come in for the side of them. Cry with the Kitsune rush onto the point. Arman and Grind both answering with both their ultimates. Shinji and Ronin find picks of their own. The bot is going in the wrong direction, however. Cry will fall. Asdel will fall. Zevris will find as and Koi, the only person left on the point with this annihilation, but Eternal Fury will not be denied again. They said everybody was playing for second this season. Finally, they will be the champions of Intermediate Division Series 2-3.
Wow, really strong macro play from Eternal Fury, knowing when they had that opportunity, they had the double supporters to beat on top. Usually you don't want to use those two at the same time, but recognizing it's now or never, we need to win the fight fast, allows them to just walk with that Zarya super fast, collect picks onto the Reaper, and it's all she wrote. Eternal Fury with this Zarya comp, not the typical Zarya comp we've seen throughout the season so far, but they make it work and they win grand finals 4-2.
4-2, and like their rookie team, look at their rookie team actually. Like I pointed out at the beginning, a complete mirror of how the maps went. Not the map types, of course, but in terms of how the map score went 3-0, then Joey taking 2, and then Eternal Fury finally closing it out 4-2 here. As this Eternal, like Ronin said at the very beginning of the season, that everybody was pumped for second, and finally, the old man gets to retire a champion.
Yeah, really strong play from Eternal Fury. I mean, all the players on the roster are really strong in this kind of first 2-3 maps. I mean, Shinji with the Orisa play, the javelins, catching out so many people on those first maps. Zarya play also really strong, just having good tracking to beam down targets. I mean, it's when you have a tank that is just that good mechanically, able to get the most out of their abilities. Like that's the cornerstone to stepping up and winning through everything else. And then you have to have kind of your DPS to back you up there and make the plays when they're necessary. We saw really strong plays from Ronin, really strong plays from Zevris, May, Cassidy, Soldier in the end, apparently Tracer. It's just they had it all in this series.
And here's the MVP. As a tank player myself, very proud of you, Mike. Very proud of you, Shinji. As we do have a winners interview here from Eternal Fury, it is Ronin. Hey Ronin, if you want to bring in your teammates along there, welcome to join us.
For sure. I don't know if they will.
I think we can have up to 3 people.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can ask.
But well, just while you're asking, you said at the very beginning of the season everybody was playing for second, and it finally pays off. You did have a rough patch at the beginning of the season, so how does it feel to finally win that championship that has been eluding you for a while now?
Man, dude, it feels amazing. Obviously, I guess the people that know me, I came back to Overwatch to win one more. And I've been getting a lot of top 4s, top 2s for the past 2 years. And I don't know. I knew this one would be the one. I'm very proud of the team for sure. I could not have done it without them. I think Pop-Tart played fucking amazing. Sorry, I'm trying not to curse, but
I think you're fine, bro.
Everyone on the team is just like, man, that week 1, we got 3-0'd, but we always knew we were the better team. And just the way we faced off here in the finals, like, I don't think we could have written like a better story. We did want to play the Unction, which we did get to. And, you know, shout out to the Unction. Like, in our eyes, they were the team to beat. And you saw what that match was like. And after that match, we knew we had the resiliency to win this tournament. And we always believed we were the better team, even despite the rough patches. I'm super proud of the team.
Yeah. this roster, I mean, you put it together. Of course, Grind is kind of like the unknown person. Everybody pretty much knows everybody on that roster. I would assume so. So, Grind, kind of the unknown factor. I kind of a little funny story. I think of how you found him, but he looked very solid, um, on that Flux support. But another question for you, Ronan: is this the end of Eternal Fury? Are you gonna retire the team or the branding?
Um, the people close to me know that this was my last tournament, right? I had already quit before after Series 1. I know people like to clown me for it, but just my ego, it'd keep biting at me like, dude, you failed, right? You failed the one goal you had to win one more tournament. I've won in the past plenty, but I wanted one more. I had retired after Season 1. And yeah, when I got the opportunity to come back for one more Series 3, I took it. And to answer your question, I'm done. My goal is achieved. The Fury branding, I thought about it a lot, and I know it's like super popular. And I think just as a way to, I guess, maybe still be around the community, I think the Fury branding will stay. You'll see Eternal Fury in future tournaments. I won't be in it anymore, but hopefully every time you guys see Eternal Fury, you guys remember me, right? Whether they do good or bad, right? And I'll still be around, talking with everybody in the community. But again, enough about me. I couldn't have done it with the team without the team. The team is amazing. Lots of rough patches, like I said, a lot of arguments. We had arguments where, I'm not even gonna lie, like we were so close to blowing up the team multiple times because of how rough it was. People didn't know that, right? Because I try and keep Fury really secret. But we overcame all that, and they all played great. They all had their moments, and I love each and every one of these guys for sure. And yeah, I hope they have success in their future.
Oh, I have one question. Just obviously Eternal as an organization has a lot of teams. A lot of the teams under Eternal org kind of played in this series of SPCS. Do you, as kind of as a roster of Fury, is it more separate, or do you have a lot of interaction with those other rosters? Can you speak a little bit to kind of how you guys help each other a little bit, how that kind of interaction works, having multiple teams in the same org playing in the same tier?
For sure. So I'll try and make it really brief. I'm involved with every team. I will say I was less involved. I promised the two GMs from Greed and Surge, which were the other teams in our same tier, that I would mute their channels. I kept my word. They know I did. I'm glad they trusted me, right? Because they could have just easily made their own channels, right? Because maybe they're like, nah, this guy's gonna peep when they play us. But we played both of them. I never looked at their channels. Shout out to Blue and Tube, who were the two GMs that trusted me not to peep in their channels. But I had minimal involvement with them aside from maybe, coaching help and whatnot. Not me coaching because I could not do it, but, just helping them get a coach and stuff like that. As for B-Drop Bears, well, you guys know I was assistant GM on that one. And Rift, shout out Goop, man. He's been intermediate for the past two tournaments, and I told him at the beginning, I want an advanced tier roster. Like, let's have one. Can you, take on this challenge, right? At the time, I think he was, I want to say, maybe D1 or something. And now he's like a top 500 player. He's improved so much. I'm really proud of him. I'm proud of Water. Shout out Water. I could not have done any of this without Water. He's been managing every team. Like, Water's been a superstar, even more than me. So shout out him. And yeah, I think it's the great team that I have behind me with the org. It's not all me. Absolutely not. Water deserves a lot of credit. Goop deserves a lot of credit. All the staff deserves a lot of credit. Matter of fact, it's the reason why I'm stepping down from staff, because SPCS staff, I got to stick by them as they stuck by me. So shout out to Joy. One more. A shout out to Joy as well. They're amazing. I'm glad we could put on a good show for you guys.
Yeah, but with that, we'll let you go, Ronan, and go celebrate with the massive watch party you had going in the Eternal server. I was looking over every now and then to see how many people were in there, and there's quite a few people that came out from all over the place just to see you guys win. But with that, congratulations on your win, and
Congratulations.
Thank
you.
And welcome to the Championships Club, buddy.
Man, yeah. Thank you, thank you. Shout out SPCS. Shout out you guys as well for, hosting the tournament. You guys, you do this for free. So all love. People definitely should, respect our casters, respect our staff. They're all lovely. I love everybody. And yeah, you guys have a good night.
GG's.
All right.
GG's,
Thank you,
GG's.
Roden. Well, with that, that will not entirely wind roll up Series 3. Yeti for the final time tomorrow will be hosting the Series 3 award show. Well, your best tank, best DPS, best support, MVP each division tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern. It'll be the final time
Hey.
Yeti will be doing this show. As long as you know, he is stepping down I think he is stepping down as commissioner. So this will be the last time he will be hosting a show. And also, I think you might see I think he said there might be a little bit of a sneak peek into Series 4. So be on the lookout for that. Tune into the award show tomorrow. If you don't want to turn into the award show tomorrow to see who wins in each category across all the divisions, and also for a little bit of a sneak peek perhaps into Series 4.
Yeah, and if you want more information, obviously everything for this series has been on spcs.slmn.gg, but for information kind of during this kind of off-season break that we're going to have between series, be in the Discord. Announcements on everything will be there. Signups when they happen will be there. If you want to be more involved with the community, like we said, with casting, observing, producing, information is there. Cannot stress enough. If you are new to the community or interested in anything, everything is in the Discord. Staff will be happy to help you find what you need to be able to participate in this amazing community that we have going here with the Spawn Point Championship Series.
Yeah, but with all that being said, we'll be signing off for the final time for SPCS Series 3. You have your 3 champions. Eternal Beat Drop Bear is taking the rookie tier title. Billings Boomer is taking the advanced tier title, and Eternal Fury taking the intermediate tier title. The one last award show tomorrow will be hosted by Mr. Yeti, and we will see you all in Series 4.